Right on. $20 clicks. All right. Tagti tiri ħarissu naraw. Tajjeb. Same shot. Taġġilx, ara l-bubble all. Tajjeb. Same shot. All taġġilx għandek il-ħin. Ara l-bubble. Trigger bil-mod. Inti sparajt? Tajjeb. Taġġilx.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Let's try it out then.
So we were commenting before on target 7. We saw the impacts were stringing from right to left.
Yeah.
Whereas target 6, the string was vertical. So it seemed like the effect of the wind was quite a bit different from 6 to 7.
Oliver is a really good shot. So
he's got a good run going. Yeah. He seems to have figured out the wind on this target.
Okay, change target.
The question is how direct of a transfer you have going from 5 to 6. Whether it picks up or whether
one or two right.
That's his challenge right now. He and his spotter have to figure that out.
Yeah, and also the first one, target 5 is kind of good impact visibility, but in the next target is a little bit harder and it's more tricky wind because you're going up to the left and you get more on and off winds.
Yes.
So it's get trickier more further out you come.
And I think yesterday we had the opposite wind. We had a right to left wind yesterday. So for most shooters that's going to be offsetting spin drift. So you end up with a straight up bullet. Whereas today this wind is additive to spin drift, which causes a more drastic flight.
Yeah, and you can feel it now. It's like pushing a little bit, and then it comes up a little bit. And also when you have a pushing wind like this, in this kind of weather, you have a pushing, it will actually lift your boat as well.
Well, we see that on some courses we shoot. The terrain here, as you go to the target, is sloping up.
Yeah.
So whatever wind is coming up through the valley has to go up and over the hill, and you'll get a little bit of an updraft.
Exactly. Yesterday, when we have wind to the right, was pushing it down.
Yeah.
So many people actually need to came up 0.2, 0.3
exactly.
to hit the target.
And we see that in Raton a lot because we're shooting a rock face.
Yeah.
And we have a tailwind generally. A 5 o'clock wind is predominant there. And we'll see that it'll hit the rock face and it'll run up the hill and we'll get an updraft. And occasionally we'll have the wind coming at our face, but we know it's going to have a downdraft coming up over the hill.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a strong consideration.
I would say that when it's like tailing a little bit, it wasn't tailing today, but it's a little bit the same feeling as a tail because it's coming over the ridge. So when you push kind of hard from down here, it's okay. But when it comes over the ridge, it's like pushing, and you get a little more push to the right. And I'll say that's what we see on the furthest, the target number 7. You can see it actually. It goes quite far, like 1.5 minutes to the right.
And that's the shooter spotter. They're going to be watching the dust clouds off of the misses, just to get a sense for the wind speed at the target. Like on that one, we saw it just sort of popped up. It really didn't run too much left to right. It feels like we should have more, but it tells us at the target, it's just not seeing that wind.
Yeah. So, but if you watch the dust, you will actually see that next shot, it will perhaps go to the right, or sometimes actually go to the left. So it's like switching. It's like tailwinds.
Well, we have a target. One of the courses we shoot, our King of 1 Mile course in
Yeah.
the U.S. There's one target that is nestled in amongst some trees. Prevailing winds are right to left,
Yeah.
but just the local effects of those trees and so forth, you end up with a left to right. So if you're reading dust off of that target, it shows as being left to right.
Yeah.
But the prevailing winds between the line and the target are all right to left. So you have to totally disregard what you see on the dust on that target.
Yeah. And now you see it was straight underneath, and the dust was going slightly to the left, not to the right. It was,
Well, at this time yesterday, the wind pretty much died down.
Yeah.
So we had those shooters were racking up a lot of hits at this time.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that we may see something like that today as well. We have fickle ELR gods.
a hit is a hit.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if it's high or low. A hit is a hit.
¿Escuchaste? Dale.
It's a small
Justo
target.
lo rozaste por arriba.
Yeah, I was going to ask, since I haven't ranged these ones yet, what target size are we looking at? 1.5 minutes? Or
0.4.
0.4?
Yeah,
Wow.
0.4. So there's
Just over a minute?
there's real small targets.
Okay, and this is something that I commented on yesterday as well, that most ELR targets, when we look at, say, King of 2 miles or whatever, King of 1 mile, typical size would be 1.5 minutes tall, about 2 minutes wide.
Yeah.
So it's about 0.6 by 0.7 is a very typical size.
Yeah.
And we're looking here at 0.4 by 0.4.
Yeah.
That's about 1/3 the size.
Yeah.
1/3 the area.
When we went to France last year, it's like this would be a 0.6,
Yeah.
0.7 target. This is really small target, so it's hard to aim at, really precise. So you can't shoot that fast because then you're gonna miss off shooting area. But you need to be fast to compensate for the wind.
It's hard to appreciate that on the camera feeds because the targets always look
Yeah.
big. We fill the camera or the image with the camera or the target.
Yeah. There's
But
really small targets.
yeah, I'm sort of saying that more for the viewers who aren't on site, so that they can get a full appreciation really for the challenge involved. And there are a lot of times we're shooting and we may get an edge hit, and like you said, a hit's a hit.
Yeah.
So when you're shooting a bigger target, even if you hit the edge, okay, on the record books, it's a hit.
Is it?
But if you were to take that same level of precision on these targets, that you're off the edge.
Yeah. This is really hard because this is also when you aim kind of far up, is far up on the hill side, so you actually go down with the recoil. So
Good point.
yeah, a lot of people will actually shoot over it because the recoil
Exactly.
will push a little bit back, and because you have yes, maxed out this bipod and has
That's something that after you start shooting a little bit, one of the things you try to do is you align your bipod pad with your barrel,
yeah.
so that on recoil you stay on target. Whenever you start getting too much of a different angle on recoil, you'll have various levels of recoil.
Yeah.
You could very easily come off the target.
And here you see two different schools. Here you have the skis.
Yes.
A lot of people shoot with skis to have straight backward recoil. And you can see here on the grass, it's actually it's moving quite a lot. And we go up and down, and it's not.
Well, this is a tricky one in that a lot of the impact areas
Yeah.
are covered by the grasses.
It's really hard to spot if I'm high, low. If you're out to the right or out to the left, it's really hard to see it.
And sometimes you may hit in a grass and the ricochet may show up somewhere else, and you think that's your point of impact,
Yeah.
and you end up with an errant correction.
Exactly, and you think it's that way. Yeah. And I was talking about the skis there. I would say that that's the most popular way to shoot here right now is the skis. I'm going with I have pointed feet,
Okay.
so I can actually push a little bit to the bipod. It's more like a practical solution when
Yes.
you shoot out in the field. Many of the competitions in Sweden we don't have this flat surface. It's more like in the terrain. You shoot from the terrain. Even at these kind of distances, you
And
shoot in the terrain.
that's one of the major differences we've seen in recent years in ELR, is that these courses are becoming more mature.
Yeah.
And as they are, some of them have leveled concrete firing lines,
Yeah.
just much more manicured, which is leading to a higher hit percentage.
Yeah.
That's a
Oliver did a really, really good end there.
Wow.
5 hits is definitely a good run. Really, really good.
That's a nice way to finish off the round. He figured out the hard one. And that was a tough target.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the point of the bipod angle, the base angle.
Yeah.
In France this year, it's a slight downward angle on the 2-mile match, or the prelims. So to account for that, I built in a downward angle for my bipod pad. I didn't realize that the firing line already had an angle in it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize until afterwards I saw a photo someone had taken while I was shooting, and it was obvious then that I had way too much slope in my bipod pad, so that on recoil my gun would come up off the target.
Yeah.
And
we were shooting downward.
We were shooting downward
in the slope.
and I had too much downward slope on my pad. As the gun would recoil, it would come up off of target.
Yeah.
So as a shooter, it just shows up as having vertical issues in this high. Well, you think it's because of your bullet drop or whatever else, and you end up chasing vertical then. It's very just makes it more difficult than it needs to be. So as a new shooter, what you'd want to do is find out what is the angle of fire to the target, and then as you're setting up, you can check your angle of your pad just to see if it's in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Or if you want to be more practical, as you're behind the gun,
Yeah.
just slide it forward and back on the pad
Yeah, and see
to
it,
see if it does.
so
As you look through the scope, do you stay on target
so it
or
tracks
not?
well.
Yeah.
That was a hard run, but still, it's kind of tricky conditions. Oliver did a really nice job sending 505 at the first target. Really, really good shooting there. I think
ELR is an interesting thing because everyone's got their own challenges as well for a given day. When you're up there, you may not be looking to necessarily win the match, whatever it is. You're working on some aspect of your style, of your setup that you hope to improve upon.
Yeah.
So we all have our victories for a given day.
Exactly.
It's not all just based on points.
I was really lucky that actually I was like having a prayer before because I have no extractor on my ball, so I needed to like retract the cases with a small dentist tool. So it's broke just the day before I left. So.
Yes. I shot a match earlier this year in Raton where my spotter it looked like I was shooting black powder because every shot, because I had a broken extractor, he would be hitting it with a cleaning rod to tap the case out of my chamber. In a way, it's embarrassing because my equipment shouldn't be in that state.
Yeah.
But this particular one was a new chamber, new barrel, and running old brass.
Yeah.
And the brass was sticking.
It feels like doesn't matter when the competition is, we're always too late. Everything is like always on the edge, last minute things.
Well, we're always in a state of flux,
Yeah.
trying to improve our game, our systems, and as a result, there's always something that just changed before the match.
Yeah.
It's very difficult because you have to keep improving because everyone around you is improving.
Yeah.
So we have to keep trying to make things better.
I shot a new rifle, a new chassis, and I called Rod the day before I left because that was the first day. I had 1 day to actually sort out the load for this competition. It was the first time I actually tried the load as well. So it was like now or never. So
That's
one
impressive.
day, one day to go.
Well, that's impressive to develop a load as well as the barrel's going to be breaking in during the match. Usually you'll be speeding up.
Yeah.
And for you to be on target as much as you were, that's very impressive. Congratulations.
No, I would say it's always the last minute thing. It's better to be a little bit more prepared. So hopefully that's the way it's going to be from now on.
Well, we always say that you've got certain shooters, and it may be their year, and it seems every match you go to, they're doing well, either winning or near the top. And frequently, it's the equipment. We have these barrels that sometimes you get one that just shoots.
Yeah.
You don't know why, you can't explain it, the manufacturer can't explain it.
No.
It's just a great shooting barrel.
It's like point and press.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When it burns out, in fact, you're waiting for that guy's barrel to burn out because you can't take it anymore. You can't beat him with that gun.
No.
But eventually it will. He rechambers it, puts a new barrel, and he's back with the rest of the crowd then.
Yeah. we have some, for instance, Sweden gunsmiths that said that if it doesn't shoot the first 200, you just pull it away, take a new one. It's not worth it to spend all the money and time and the energy to try to make it shoot. If it doesn't shoot in the beginning, it won't shoot later on. So you just pull it off, take a new one, and go on.
One of the older barrel makers in the U.S., he makes a comment that everybody gets one Angel barrel per lifetime.
Yeah.
So when you get yours, the idea is just to enjoy it and make the most of it.
Yeah. And with these kind of guns, it will not last that long. These are 300 VSM, but most of the guys are shooting 300 and 338. It kind of, I know one of the guys here is shooting about 3,000, 3,100 feet per second. So we pushed the system quite hard.
Now Robert had a really strong run yesterday. So he's going to be trying to build on that today.
Yeah.
It's different conditions, so we'll see how he does.
Right, we got bumped. I want you to come, if that was a good shot, I want you to come 4.5 MOA left.
Okay, so the spotter has got a good spot on it. I really didn't see much from my angle on it, but the spotter's very confident with his call and thinks he can bring him on this shot.
Shot, as you said, firing.
Yeah.
So that could have affected it.
You'll hear the communication going on between spotter and shooter. It's an ongoing conversation, the discussion of what's going on, what's going to happen.
Carry on.
Yeah, and the spotter is the brain in this kind of competitions. If you have a good spotter, you will gain so much points to get the feedback. This is one of the examples. He shot first miss, and the spotter corrected him and said, do this, and you will be on target.
And you heard him make even a finer correction off of that. Since there's a left edge hit, he called for 2 clicks to the right, which should center it up.
And this is where you see Robert speeding up to try to shoot in the wind, so you can same wind condition. So you can speed up and fire quite fast.
Hit, repeat.
So he actually managed to send. We see the last shot as well.
And you can see the wind correction that he made came over the center of the blade as well.
So he made a wind correction and then he shot really fast to try to shoot in the same wind condition as the first.
And that was also a question you would have here is the fact we saw he had a left edge hit at center water line. He followed that up with a top center hit.
Yeah.
Now some shooters would chase that and they would come down on their next shot. Well, his next shot was the bottom of the plate.
Yeah.
So that would have been off the plate had he chased it.
Yeah.
So sometimes once you're on and you're confident in the way you executed the shot, you don't necessarily want to chase every block of information you get. Sometimes you just want to disregard something instead of chasing absolutely every single thing.
Yeah, and I think also the targets number 7, 6 and number 7, if the wind goes forward and back, just pick one and stay solid on that one, and you will end up more on the plate instead of just trying to chase the wind, because then you're off and then you're off and then you're off. If you have some luck, you can actually manage that, but it's better to stay solid on the same correction and just you get 3 or 5.
Frequently we have this urge to hold an edge of the plate or maybe even off of an edge. I can't tell you how many times I've held off of an edge and that's exactly where the bullet went.
Yeah, exactly.
So my takeaway from that is generally if I'm going to even favor one direction or another, try to keep on the target just in case I get.
Yeah, it's better to be inside, but we also see that many shooters don't actually want to adjust that much for the wind.
Right.
Most of the shooters, especially when they're a little bit newcomers, they actually hold too less for the wind. They will blow off. Especially when we go this far out and shoot quite high, the bullet goes really high up. And you have more wind.
Exactly. When I started getting into long-range shooting, one of my guys I trained with, he had the comment. He was from the Marine sniper background. His thing was make bold corrections. He was always wanting to maybe go too far, or maybe give yourself a full 100% correction, because even if you went off the other edge, fine. Now we've bracketed the problem. If you're timid and just walking your way in, you're wasting shots.
That's one of the experience I have as well. Most of the people overcompensate. It's better to go, if you think it's 1 mil, take 0.5 mil and go back. This will we ended up with. We overcompensated.
Yeah.
And
And you can frequently, I think we've all run into this, where you end up with a right miss, left miss, right
Yeah.
miss, and you end up chasing yourself. Now it feels like the target is shrinking because your corrections aren't even that much, and now you're missing edges.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now we have a new hit from Robert. Really good. Top right corner.
Now, Robert's a very experienced shooter. He's shot this course before multiple times. He's had success, so we would expect him to do well.
Yeah.
Back to the centre. Aim in the centre.
You can notice Robert's he's running with his bipods on the ground as opposed to some prepared platform. That's
Yeah.
just a personal preference on how you want to execute your shots.
Yeah. Robert has a really good run here.
And you can see he's got a bipod extension of sorts with his Picatinny rail. That's all just to give a little bit more stability so that any motion on the back end of the rifle causes less of an angle change at the barrel. So it's easier to stay slightly more stable on target.
Yeah.
The downside to that is when you want to make an angle correction either for elevation or wind, it takes a larger correction at the back of the gun to bring about the same angle change.
Yeah, and also you need to be aware building some flex in the system as well.
Exactly.
Because that's one of the way you actually get, like here when you have a really long carbon fiber rod coming out, so you need to actually be really
Yes. Shooters need to be aware of what their system, again, these bipod
Exactly.
extensions can cause or bring about flexibility. Sometimes it's in the chassis itself, the chassis connections. Sometimes it's in the bipod extension.
Yeah.
And if you want a certain amount of extension, if you've got, say, 3 rods, you don't have to extend all of them one way. You can find out what works, what gives you the best rigidity for your system.
Ray is also trying to do he shoots really fast now, so try to chase the wind. So, and he got a hit now, bottom left, and he shoots quite fast.
And that's his style. So
Yeah.
this is simply the way he trains and runs. He's not trying to run fast. This
No.
is just his natural cadence.
Yeah, this is you can see it. This is the way he shoots.
Yes.
So this is normal thing I say in Sweden when we shoot, kind of not this far out, but a little bit shorter with small calibers. We run quite fast just to chase the wind, because
Yes.
when you have one hit, you have to send it quite fast. But these guns are much harder to send fast because they will actually push you back a little bit. You have some recoil.
And sometimes people want to run fast at the expense of being accurate.
Yeah.
We have to remember your goal is to hit the target, not to see how little clock you can use up.
Yeah.
So sometimes we'll lose focus on that if people are focusing too much on their speed.
Yeah, and we can see Robert here taking it slow, making the shot count, so he actually want to have it on the target. And if he hits now, he will go and speed up.
But now Robert's also very methodical. So one of the things is the amount of time that your bullet's in the chamber,
Yeah.
from when you chamber your round until you squeeze the trigger. He's an experienced shooter,
Yeah.
and that cadence is the same. So
Yeah.
he gets the same amount of warming per shot.
Yeah.
Definitely not random at all. He's a very experienced shooter.
Yeah. Consistency.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
Yep. Absolutely.
Same time in the chamber, same speed. And now it's a huge benefit with the new chronograph, so you can actually see real life time. It's like,
Absolutely.
okay, my speed is building up here, and I can actually go down the click.
Yeah, I'm still debating the value of a rifle-mounted chronograph myself personally.
Yeah.
I think it leads to a wider extreme spread
Yeah.
because the chronograph doesn't know that it's moving. So any recoil velocity backwards, it's a relative speed between the chronograph and the bullet.
Yeah.
So any down aft motion of the chronograph is going to be attributed to bullet speed.
That's
If-
a good point.
Now,
That's
if
a
you
good
have
point.
different shoulder tensions, maybe you're a little bit tighter on one shot than the next, it's going to show up as more extreme spread on the bullet speed.
Yeah, and I think the problem is you remember in King of France, the King of 1 mile and 2 mile, there was a rule that said that the chronograph need to be attached to the rifle.
Has to be attached.
Here
yes.
in France, here in Italy, we're actually able to stand it, just put it on in front and have it on the ground. But different competition, different rules.
King tends to be a little bit more restrictive
Yeah.
than most other matches, whether it's a weight restriction or equipment restrictions. But as shooters, we don't want to be changing our equipment either.
No.
We want to have a steady system that we can run for all of our matches. So we end up adopting the King rules and restricting ourselves voluntarily for
Yeah.
these other matches.
His is last year's winner, setting up for his long shots. I think he's shooting the 33 XE this year as
I
well.
think so, yes. Did you see his preliminary? I didn't see his first round.
No,
So-
I talked to him and he said he had a misfire.
He sounded like he wasn't happy with his first performance, but everyone's aware that the point multipliers and distances for the second half of the preliminaries are drastically more than what we had in the first half.
Yeah, I think there's like 25,000 in the first round and like almost 80,000 points.
Yeah,
in the second one.
it's night and day. Even when you think multipliers, it was 3-2-1 for the first targets. Today we're shooting it's 5-4-3-3-3.
Yeah.
So that means per target you have 18 multiplier that if you were
Yeah.
to clean it. For the first round it was a 6 multiplier if you were to clean a target. And that's times distance. So we're shooting longer distances with higher multipliers. A lot of points available. But I was talking to Bill before his run today, and he came to the conclusion as well that regardless of what you do on the first half, you have to shoot well on the second.
Yeah.
Even if you clean on first half, you still have to shoot well on the second because then you can't give it up.
No.
And even if you don't do well on the first, you can still do well overall with a good clean second half run. So Bill's in a situation where I am, where I did not do well on the first half. So all the eggs are in my second half basket right now.
You all right? Oh, sorry. Had a small incident there where TV screen is flying away in the wind. So
The wind is a little more effective on the firing line than we thought.
Yeah,
we didn't
but
prep
we're
for the
back.
wind.
Right. As you can see.
All right, back to Bill. Now, I'm not sure about how Bill approaches things, but for myself, I can be as nervous as whatever between strings or as you're preparing to shoot. But once I'm down behind the gun, the nerves go away.
Yeah.
It's
Everything disappears.
It's simply executing the shots. I've got my data, I've got my bullets, I've got what's in front of me, and there's no room for nerves. Everything
Yeah.
else just fades away.
Now we feel the wind is really pushing right now because the TV screen just fell off the table that we were watching, so we can feel it.
And that actually,
It's adding up now.
If the shooters feel that, based on we have a bit of a protection here from
Yeah.
the rear. That means that the wind is probably changing direction. If we're feeling it more, it's probably swinging around a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whatever direction that is, coming out of the north. So they may want to think about that as well for what it's going to do to their shots downrange. Probably be a little bit more effective wind. Okay, so that's a point right there. Is you missed off to the right. The wind was more effective than you gave credit for it. But he'll adjust quickly on that. He got good feedback. He knows exactly where he was, and he knows what he needs to do to get on target. So I would expect to hit on this one.
Yeah. And when it's a little bit pushing a little bit more, I think it will be more consistency with the wind. That's
There
a
it
good
is.
one. He's on the target. Really good.
Well, shooters like of Bill's caliber, that's the kind of response you would see.
Yeah.
They learn quickly. I think that comment could be said where most of the people here.
I think it's got a click or something. Something happened here with the rifle. So I'm not sure what's happening here.
He may be getting some weak strikes on the primer. I'm not quite sure what the issue is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
That-
simple as changing out the spring in your firing pin.
Yeah, that's one of the stressful situations when you feel that something is happening and you need to sort it out, and then you see the time is running and ticking, and the brain starts thinking about what happened, why is this happening
Yes.
right now, and
And-
try to solve the problem during the time you shoot.
And it's the hit on confidence.
Yeah,
You want to know that when you squeeze the trigger off or the shot, that it's going where you expect it.
yeah,
When you have the misfires, it makes you second guess yourself every time you squeeze.
yeah. It's running a 33XC, I think, and this is where it really shines with a lot of wind, tricky winds, and he pushed them quite hard. I know that. And now this wind is picking up. We can see that. Yeah, good hit there.
Very nice. That was a good recovery after having the misfire on third shot.
Yeah, really
Took
good.
him out of his game a little bit, but he recovered very well.
Also, a really experienced shooter as well.
Absolutely.
He's been in the game for a while.
So at this point, he's not thinking about the primer anymore. He's
No.
moving on. He's got other things to be dealing with.
Yeah,
He's back on his game again at this point.
I've seen a lot of people here running really good optics on the rifles. And
And we've got
especially-
a lot of good sponsors on the optics side with Schmidt & Bender and March Scopes,
Yeah.
Callis, Zero Compromise, in no particular order. They're all excellent systems, and we appreciate the support we get from these vendors.
Yeah.
They really help put matches like this. They help us fund them and just make it happen. We appreciate their support.
yeah.
And also, we acknowledge or we encourage people, if you're in the market for any of these products, please take a look at these vendors. Take a look at what they have to offer so that they can continue to support the sport that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I see Delta in front of me right now. That's another optics company. I apologize if I left anyone out. I didn't intentionally do that. But in fact, Delta, the team Delta won King of 2 Miles this year in France.
All right.
So team out of Poland came out of nowhere. No one, I had never heard of them before.
Delta Optics guys are.
They were Delta team, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they won King of 2 Miles. So very good job. There are a lot of good shooters all over the place at this point. You can't take anybody for granted. This is Chris Batterson shooting. Chris has stepped up. He's my spotter for this match.
All right.
My teammate had to back out at the last minute, and Chris graciously stepped up to the spot for me.
Yeah, that was a good one. You can see that Chris was really happy about that
Yes,
one.
he was. Yeah, with yesterday, luckily I shot first, so I was able to give him some pretty good wind conditions.
Yeah.
He was quite pleased with that, with a cold bore impact and so forth. So it was nice to be able to help out a teammate who stepped in at the last minute to help me out.
Because of your scope, like, yeah, I know it's because of my scope, being on, and then I've been looking at this side, and on the other side was the biggest move post you could find.
You can see that Chris is running Schmidt & Bender again.
Yeah.
The world's champions.
One of our sponsors for this match, so we appreciate their support.
I was really happy that I'm running in 545 Smith & Wesson, and this morning when I shot, I was first out, and exactly when we started shooting, the sun was popping up behind the ridge and was straight into the optics. I know a lot of guys had really struggled to. I had really struggled, but with really good optics, that's where you actually see the difference between optics. When you got that kind of conditions, with cheap optics, you wouldn't be able to see the targets.
Exactly.
So I was really satisfied.
Under
with
ideal conditions, many optics can do the job,
Yeah,
but under low light or extreme conditions, really makes a difference.
that's when it really shines out. It stands out really good.
Okay, we
Yeah.
were finally able to see that one. We weren't able to catch some of those impacts, but we finally saw that one. Looks like a little low right. Again, that's because the wind up on 7 is just a little more dramatic than what we're seeing on 5 and 6.
Yeah,
So people tend to be missing to the right if they're going to miss. The challenge is you never know what angle that the spotter has. He may or may not be able to pick up that impact.
and
We have the advantage of being close
this is
to the
also
camera
where
feed.
where the heavy ball shines a little bit.
There he goes with an impact. So
Yeah, it was a good end there with a
well, he was
impact.
disappointed. He had a good run on target 6,
Yeah,
and I think he wanted to carry that across to 7, and
yeah.
he got an impact, but he wanted more.
Let's see how it goes here. He should be out on the last target, I think.
We generally, as shooters, we don't like to leave the door open for somebody else. So whenever we have a chance to make some impacts, we would like to get it done.
Yeah,
Instead of relying on someone else to not get it done.
exactly. All right. Yeah, I guess he has shot all the shots at number 5 and 6. I guess he's changing target to number 7.
I'm not sure what happened on the last one, but yeah, it looks like he's transitioning to the next target, though.
Yeah,
And you can tell his pace is off, so there's something, he may have had another misfire or something
yeah.
else that slowed him
Something
down.
is off.
Something's slowing him down right now. And again, if that is the case, it's going to have an impact on his confidence
It
level as
might
well.
be a new misfire. And then you need to let the bolt be down for 20 seconds before you
Yes.
open it.
Yeah, normally we have to back away from the gun, and the range safety officer is usually the one, like for our King Miles matches
Yeah.
anyway, that will come over and address the situation with the rifle. And it's a safety issue. You don't want the bullet to go off as you're trying to extract it.
No,
So you have to be very careful of when and how you extract one after you've impacted the primer.
oh, here is still on number 6, the target.
And as always, safety is the primary issue when we're shooting.
Yeah,
So even when we do our briefings before a match, number 1, 2, and 3 priorities are safety. We don't count very well sometimes.
this is
See, they're getting wind for Bill with the smoke. With their cigarettes, they're trying to feed some wind data. All that to say, as shooters, we get everything you can imagine. Whatever we can see, we use.
yeah. I think he moved.
I think these conditions have gotten a little bit worse this afternoon. We're not seeing as many impacts as we had in the morning. It's getting a little tougher. And it's sporadic, as we'll see. So the guys will have a nice run for a target, and then
Yeah.
they'll fall off. So it seems to be coming and going.
Yeah, and this is one of the things this kind of shooting, you never know. It's
Exactly.
like a draw. Sometimes you're happy and you're lucky and you have consistent win, and then everything changes.
Well,
One off, yeah.
You learn
often-
to not be too critical of yourself or to be too proud of yourself.
No.
If you do well or don't do well, it's part of the game. You have the ups and downs, and you just have to accept
Yeah,
one with the
we,
other.
we talked about that earlier today when we were sitting after the final round there. It's like it's more about being consistency. You do okay every time, at least okay. And it's all about experience, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
The more trigger time you have in this kind of condition and this kind of range, and a good spot communication as well.
Well, for me, I enjoy coming to matches like this because I get to meet people that I don't see on my normal match
Yeah.
circuit. But I come over here, I refer to as my international ELR friends.
Yeah, we met in France as well,
Absolutely.
and now we're in Italy. Sicily.
That's a big portion of the excitement and enjoyment of even coming to these.
Yeah.
Regardless of how I shoot, whether I shoot well or not, it's a successful match just by meeting up with a lot of good people.
Yeah, and this is the Extreme Shot here in Sicily is a really social event as well. There's a lot of going on, having a good dinner during.
Absolutely.
Was it Wednesday evening? Really nice. So it's a really nice event. They have made a really good job arranging it. I think they have a lot of help from all the sponsors as well.
Rod did a good job of putting it together. He realizes that it's not just a venue for shooting ELR. There's more to it. It's as far as what it takes to make a successful match.
Yeah.
And he's accounting for a lot of these other secondary factors. So I greatly appreciate what he did, all the work he put into it.
Yeah.
The amount of preparation was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The phone calls, the conference calls, and that's just the ones that I'm aware of. I'm sure there was a whole lot of activity that I didn't even see or was aware of. But he was looking for feedback from people all over the world. What is their experience? What does it take to make a match run well? I wasn't quite sure coming into this how it was going to happen, because last year Rod had a good match, but the number of shooters grew drastically. And I thought he put on a good show last year, and it drew a lot of attention. Okay, now is it scalable or not?
Yeah.
And he's proven that he was able to scale his format to maintain a successful match.
Yeah, and they really scaled everything up, and I think it's running more smoothly this year than last year, even with double the tenders. So it's a really nice experience being here to shoot in these kind of conditions. It's also, I've seen a lot of shooting bringing their wives and husbands with them as well. There's also girl shooters here, so there's a good experience, the whole thing about it, coming down here to the sun and just having a blast shooting.
We're seeing that a lot in the United States these days, where it's becoming more family events.
Yeah.
And what it's leading into, though, is our King of 1 Mile was won by a young girl, 14 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
Her dad's the shooter at first, and now mom started shooting, and now the daughter's shooting, and she got it done for King of 1 Mile. So it's going not just a family event, but a successful family event. And King of 2 Miles, we had a lady that I think was in 3rd place this year, Haley.
Yeah.
Her dad, Jay Monich, he runs a lot of matches.
Yeah.
So he's very active in the ELR community. But it's just incredible. In fact, that was, I believe, the first all-female team in King of 2 Miles to have a podium finish.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, her partner is the mother of the girl who won King of 1 Mile. So it's a little bit of a family
But I
affair.
think I think it's a little bit more. This kind of event is also the social event. We have a good time together. It's like a vacation with shooting.
Yes.
So I think it will fits everyone actually to become a shooter. And
Some venues are more open to that than others.
Yeah.
Depends on the infrastructure or what is available in the towns around it. Some places are so remote that you don't really have much activity, and people just scatter after the match.
yeah,
This match, like again, Rod did a great job
Yeah.
of
really good.
amplifying really the social aspect of it. Not to mention the social media side of it, of the live feed, so that people can around the world can follow this progress of the match.
Yeah. Stefan here is trying to hit target number 6, and the wind is picking up. We can feel quite well sitting here.
I don't know if if you've got experience like on a lake sailing or something, you may remember that you can see gusts as they come across the lake as the ripples, and you can see that the gust is approaching you.
Yeah.
Well, that would have a big impact on bullet flight, but we don't have the water to tell us where the gusts are.
Yeah.
So we have to go by feel and do the best we can.
All right. I think I'm gonna check out. I'm gonna be a spotter for Joe here. We're gonna go and have a blast trying to solve this problem.
Well, good
hitting
luck.
all the place.
Make it look easy for us.
All right.
I'm sure you'll do well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Petter's stepping away. He's going to go spot for his shooter. It's always a different animal whenever you're behind a camera and microphone talking about shooting as opposed to being behind the gun or the spotting scope. It's easy to sit and talk and point out what people do. It's totally different when you're actually the one that is responsible for executing the shot.
Regia, ci dai il cambio?
Now that camera image, or you can see on the target, was an indicator of the fact how just the difficulty level today with the low number of impacts that we're seeing. Now, Godfrey's got an advantage at this point in that his spotter, Bill Tatum, just came off the line. So he should have some mature wind data. Obviously, this is luck of the draw because whenever Rod was drawing the order, it was an absolute random draw. These folks, or this team, just has the fortune now of having very recent wind data going into the second shooter.
Yeah, we're seeing Godfrey here, who's also running a Vory rifle. Vory is one of our sponsors here. They have been exposing some of their guns, and it's good to see one of them in action here. This is the one with the new buttstock. We've been sharing some of their pictures as well. Godfrey put a 32-inch barrel with Solid Solution Designs, also one of our sponsors here. And Bill is the guy that won the match last year, so I'm expecting some interesting stuff from them, but it seems these twitchy winds are catching them out, yeah? Oh, good one.
That was a good finish to it. Now, again, he's got the question to deal with now as he's going up the hill from 5 to 6 of whether you carry across the same wind, whether you have to add a little bit more to it because you're going up the hill to a more exposed target area. Those are simply the challenges that the shooter spotter team have to.
Regia, possiamo ascoltare un po' il microfono? Vediamo cosa dicono. Let's try and get what they're saying over the mics.
I don't know where you are. I can't see anything. All right, on it. Tell me when you're ready. Wind is picking up a bit. I don't know where you are.
Look, if you look at the streamer at the top left support, target support, it's not really a strong left to right indicator.
Way too high. I saw 2 shots 2 meters over the target.
And he has good wind on this one. You saw the impact just below the target. So he did a good job of reading and predicting wind. He just needs to make an elevation correction and he'll be in good shape.
Target red 6. Red 6. Check red 6.
Hans vindkald var rigtig.
Now at this point he's waiting for a condition that he's comfortable with sending it again. He wants it to be as pretty much what he sent under the last shot.
Wait, the wind's picked up.
And again you see he's using a zero compromise scope. They're another one of our sponsors for this project.
Time. Send it.
No, I personally I use zero compromise on one of my heavy guns. Great piece of equipment.
What the fuck? Are you seeing it? I'm seeing nothing. You can't be going off too far. Double check calcs, mate.
Some gust there.
You can't be pushed that far
I
off
didn't see
into
where
the
that
grass.
second shot landed. I was looking at the shooter more than the target itself.
Target 6 red.
Yeah, this Schmidt and Berner target can be challenging.
You've got plenty of
I
time.
put only 2 on this when I was running my score.
Tell me when you're ready. Send it.
He's also running a zero compromise up. Godfrey. Low right.
Low right.
Nothing.
So now he's wondering, okay, that one pushed him off the target, and I'm sure he had good wind before. Or on his first shot, he saw that he was right under it. So now he's left questioning
Sure you got target 6 done.
exactly how much correction does he give? Does he come off target? Does he just where do you go from here? And that's a big challenge because you're not really sure. You think you did everything the same, and now the wind is putting you in 2 distinct different places on the plate. Sometimes you simply just have to shoot it and have faith or hope that the conditions overall are going to give you the similar output.
All right, tell me when you're ready. Send it.
And we can tend to overanalyze and overcorrect sometimes as shooters. So sometimes we're better off just sticking
Okay, I
in the
saw
ballpark.
that one. Have you got any more
That one
rounds
looks
left?
like again off the bottom right corner.
Okay, so from there, come left, 0.6, Left
The
0.6.
spotter should be able to see that because the camera angle looks fairly straight on, but the line of sight for the shooters, the target is up above 0 degrees, so they should have good sight on that one.
Just wait. Plenty of time. All right, send it.
Like a little left on that one. So he's a little bit of a struggle on his wind conditions.
Careful, mate. Don't do what I do. You know, it's high right.
He's taking his
I
time
just
though.
moved my right over, so just
I guess
make sure
we're moving to 7 on this one.
Check you're on red 7. Double check your dope.
As a shooter, it's frustrating, especially after you had nice 3 impacts in a row. You think you're on a bit of a roll and you're going to carry on that success, but there's no guarantee, of course, on the next target, especially as you're moving up the hill. The wind can just take you to where you don't understand or you can't figure out exactly what it's doing. And at times with the variable conditions, the conditions are simply too variable, where the amount of variation from shot to shot, you're somewhat relying on luck for it to get you on target because the conditions change a little bit too much.
Your previous dope.
We talk about all the different variables when it comes to shooting, whether it's your loading skills, how much SD or extreme spread or standard deviation, whatever, of your loading velocities. Everything we do, there's a little bit of uncertainty in everything. Even the bullets themselves, shot to shot, you have slightly different ballistic coefficient on the bullet. All of those variables stack up, and it causes a dispersion in your shots downrange. So it's going to look like a cone, really, of where the shot could potentially land. And if you change nothing and do absolutely everything exactly the same, you don't adjust your scope, it's still going to be a cone around the target. So now our goal as shooters is to try to minimize the variable changes so that that cone is as small as possible. And ideally, it would be like shooting a laser, where it's a point impact, and now you can make a change on your scope, and it's going to move that point of impact. But we know that all these other factors are in play, and it's very difficult to control all of them.
Okay, see.
Okay, again, as we've been mentioning, that was a miss off the right side of the right upright. So that was about it looked like about a target and a half to the right. So the wind is a bit more effective than it was on T6.
3 minutes left. 3 shots.
Now, as a shooter, when you're preparing to shoot, you're watching this sort of thing, and you're seeing the shots go off the right. And what that tells you is that the shooters come, or in this case, the Godfrey shooting didn't account for enough wind. And you think, okay, maybe I should add a little bit more to my predicted wind. But you really don't know what he was assuming coming into the shot. But as shooters, we tend to watch the previous shooters to try to get a feel for what the conditions are that they're encountering.
I mean, when you're ready, the wind's picked up, so wait, you've got plenty of time.
But it's very useful for teams. We notice that larger, say more disciplined team, they'll feed information from one shooter to the next, and you'll find that the shooters, particularly later on in the string of the team, will benefit from having better initial conditions, and their scores will tend to be a little bit higher than the first shooter of the string. And the particularly disciplined teams will have shooting the same equipment, same caliber, same speeds, so that any kind of wind corrections are directly transferable from shooter to shooter.
This is your last shot. Plenty of time, 1 minute 30. Get it right. Yeah, wait. Yeah. Just the gust coming. We've still got more than a minute. Way more. Wait till this gust passes.
there's that impact. Some
Send it. Impact. Almost dead centre. Is that the last shot? You were close, but I couldn't see the strikes, they were a little bit high. Yeah, thanks mate, because we've got 2 rifles to carry out. Well done, thanks. Alright mate, I've taken the... Might grab a stool on the way out.
Michael found the impact on that one, so that's under these conditions. We're seeing that the number of impacts has really dropped off. So at this point, any points you can scratch up, it's going to be very, very welcome.
There's a small mistake there in the caliber. This is 338 Lapua Mag Schepter on the reloader target.
Now, the spotter should be seeing that it's a left side impact on his last 2 shots, so I'd be expecting him to come right, maybe 2 clicks or so, to try to center up his impacts. And that one was a bit more centered. It dropped off the bottom for whatever reason. Now, ELR is an interesting sport in that we shoot a given course, and whenever you get to the longest target of the course, your brain tends to think that that's the hardest target, and as a result, your hit percentage is acceptably not as high, just because it's the hardest target. Oddly enough, though, you may go to a different course where the first target might be at that same distance and go out from there. Well, because it's the first target, your brain tells you it's the first target, it's the easiest, so you expect to do very well if not hit all 5 shots. So here you have the same target, same distance, but based on what came before it and what comes after it, you have different expectations as a shooter of how to perform on it. It's a strange psychology. Unfortunately, we can't hear the communication between shooter and spotter on this one, but they should have had a pretty good correction on that. Looks like he's dialing in a little bit of a wind. I would have expected a little elevation on, but I see he just did a wind correction. So I would expect this one to be off the bottom center of the target, though. You may be able to pull it up in. That was an impact. It wiggled. It could have been a strap hit, since I don't think they called an impact on it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure whether that was an impact or not. I don't see it. Didn't see a mark on the plate, but obviously it wiggled, and that may have been a strap hit.
Forse è caduto sopra una scarpetta. Sta accendendo.
Non arriva ancora, sta accendendo.
Sta accendendo ora. C'è la scarpetta, sta la barca sponda. Ora che arriva,
There he is. He got on with that one, so it's good for him.
Sì, era quello. Ora era questa staccata, questa spina.
Can you hear their commentary, Jay? Can you hear the shooters now?
I couldn't hear him before, but now I can.
Yeah, something got disconnected there.
Now again, I commented on this match last year, and I looking at the equipment, and I'm seeing a major improvement in the overall level of equipment that these shooters are using. I think there's been a lot of advancements, a lot of understanding of what it takes to have a successful run at the match. There's a lot of improvement this year. And again, a lot of that is that the benefit of the sponsors we have supporting these matches. All of the different optics, the Hornady bullets, the cutting edge bullets, you name it. All of that support that we get feeds into the advancement of the sport. And again, I hesitate to read them all off because there's so many, and I hate to leave somebody off. But we definitely appreciate all the support we have from sponsors. And again, as individuals, whenever we're in the market for more products or updated products for our shooting systems, please take a look at what these different sponsors have to offer so that they can continue to support our sport. And as a shooter, also I want to say that I really appreciate the work that people like Rod and his support staff have put into coordinating and setting up this match. It really shows that a lot of effort and time and effort has gone into it. It's a very well-run match, very smoothly run, and it's greatly appreciated by all the competitors.
Regia, ci dà il cambio per favore? Okay, we're seeing Gary Costello lining up. Here is a UK distributor of March.
And Gary's another shooter that does us the favor of indicating his sponsors on the rifle itself, so we don't have to even read out his supporters. Obviously, March Scopes as his optics provider and cutting edge bullets.
ready? Yes, I'm ready. Motion.
I like because 3 more 3, this is 3 more 5.
All right, you'll notice Gary checking out his Kestrel. For people that don't shoot or are curious about what he's doing, is he's got a ballistics program. It's probably applied ballistics built into the Kestrel, and that's letting him know that based on the current environmental conditions, the wind, the temperature, and he has his bullet profile in or his gun profile, it'll give him an indication of what it thinks the scope correction and for elevation and windage needs to be to get on target. Of course, any prediction like that is dependent upon the quality of the data that you're putting into it, but it is gives him a reasonable first guess of how to set up his rifle. And it looks like in this case it resulted in an impact for him. So first round impact is, again, that's a 5 multiplier on distance. So you can see it's 5 times 4,000, 1,400, that's 7,000 points. So first rounds are always appreciated. Now he's stuck with the question that obviously he had a first round impact, and then the next one missed low left. Of what do you do now? Do you go back and have confidence that you'll have another impact, or do you chase the miss? He's got to deal with that. Okay, now another low left. So now it's he's got to try to decide how to compensate. Personally, I would see 2 misses down there, and I think I'd be making a correction to compensate. And again, when I say low left, that's from my camera angle. It may be a slightly different angle from shooter position. And now he's back on the plate again. Good job. It's transitioning to target 6, and you can see that not all that any impacts yet on 6. He had a good run earlier, and we'll see whether he gets on 6, whether he can carry across that success, his successive impacts, bring it across the target 6. And again, it's a little bit further up the hill, so the wind is going to be a little bit more pronounced. So that's just one of the variables to account for.
Gary is an F-class shooter, very well reputed in the UK and also internationally, and he carries that over into his ELR rifle. If you notice, it's very similar to an overgrown F-open gun.
I see on the caliber it says 300 WSM. I think he's shooting a 33.
Yeah, he's shooting 33. We'll have that changed.
And sometimes these camera angles that we have to look to view the target make it difficult to see the impact points for the shots. Now you hear that bell. Since we have 2 lanes going, we've got 2 different sounds. One's sort of a buzzer, and the other one's more of a conventional bell. It's to try to keep the shooters, the teams available or aware of the impacts on their particular lane.
Where? Where is shooting? Red?
just a little bit of confusion on number of shots on the target. Gary was just making sure that he's in agreement with the scoring team. And I've scored enough matches that you generally, sometimes you'll get up from the scoring table and count someone's cartridges, spent cartridges, just to make sure that you're on the same count or same page that they are. And again, that was the case where you heard a spotter call out an impact, but the camera feed didn't indicate an impact. So sometimes there's a little bit of disappointment on shooting teams to where they think they have an impact, but they really don't. Or sometimes it may be a frame strike or a skip, something like that. And you'll end up with a little bit of disappointment on the shooting teams after the fact. Most generally, though, the scorers will correct any calls as quickly as possible. If it's a frame hit or a strap hit, they try to make that call as soon as possible so that the shooter will know not to send the same hold. One of the worst things we can do is get an impact call as a shooter, and you think you're on, so you send the same hold again for your next shot, and then a correction come in on the previous shot. Now you wasted a round. So that's always frustrating as a shooter, but you have to accept that the people running the match are doing the best they can. There's no intentional negative intent there. So it's just a challenging, just with all the things involved, even lag time on cameras, things like that. Sometimes you can't always make an instant call. Now, as Rod mentioned earlier, Gary's a very accomplished F-class shooter, and this is just an indication, really, of what we're dealing with here, that even the highest-end shooters are having trouble conquering the wind today. It's very difficult conditions. That, and we can thank Rod for that as well, for the exceptionally small targets that he's put out here.
Yeah, I want to make sure you get a good challenge out of this match as well. You know, you come a long ways. I don't want to put all the rounds on the plate.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but that's 15-20. When you look at it, everybody says, yeah, it's 15-20. You start putting rounds on that, right, with 2-3 twitching winds around here, and it's something.
Yeah, this course is very easy when you're sitting on a couch looking at the feed.
Yeah,
it's a little more difficult behind the gun.
These are people that shoot every week.
Yeah, occasionally you'll see on social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, whatever, it doesn't matter, the keyboard shooters criticizing the videos of what someone's doing, whatever accomplishment it might be.
It's a nice shot of Peter Spotter there.
People, they'll comment that, oh, it's easy to do because you've got a computer, you've got this or that, you've got the expensive gun. Based on that, anyone could do it. Well, this is a good demonstration of how conditions make it difficult for the best shooters.
These guns are as good as you can get. You know, I mean, when you're looking at some of these rifles, these are put together by really some of the best guys in the industry, shooting the best components. I know Gary is a very, very accomplished hand loader. I ask him every now and then, you know, what do you think about this and that? He's got very low extreme spreads, like, you know, less than 10 feet per second most of the time, and still that puts pressure and challenge. So I always say, if you want to appreciate how challenging it can be, come shoot it.
And again, I think we talked about it yesterday. The nice thing is some matches now are being set up around, at least in the U.S. anyway, to be open to the average shooter with a hunting rifle. They can come out and test their system just to see how well it works. Likewise, at the Whittington Center for NRA Whittington Center in the U.S., there are long-range courses that you can take just to test your system and to see how well it does. Again, that'll take you out of the virtual social media world and put you actually into the real world to see what can be done or what can't. it's very illuminating.
Were you aiming for the camera, Gary?
No. You look at the top left. Sì, sì, quelle dell'otto, quelle di a sgancio c'è. Da vicino c'è chi deve cos'è la vicino? E digli una che ti resta lontana. You didn't see it? I still got one left. I was just about to comment about it. So what's happening? Something very wrong on my elevation there. Tell me green. That's the problem when you have two targets. You're shooting on the wrong target. How to screw up in a competition. So I did it again. Wrong target. Yeah. So was that on the left-hand side, that last shot? The green one's the one.
You hear a little bit of discussion in the background now. Gary had a little confusion while he was shooting. I think he was engaging the wrong target. Again, we have two firing lines on this particular match, a green line and a red line, and the targets are set up a few yards apart. So it's difficult to have a miss on one target, hit another one. They're that far apart, but it can get a little bit confusing for shooters when you're going down range, making sure that you are engaging the correct target.
So I'll just stop you for a sec, Jay, if I may. We stopped the match for a sec because Gary took out the camera on his last shot. He was shooting another target by mistake, so he took the camera out, and we sent out a team to have the camera replaced. So meanwhile, Jay will keep you in tune.
Yeah, we usually have a fee associated with a shot like that. It's usually $2,500 for a target, but I'm not quite sure whether whether Gary's going to buy himself a camera today or not. Yeah, we usually set up our cameras way off the targets, maybe even on another slope. He'll just to avoid accidental damage, because sometimes it's not even necessarily the shot itself. It can be a rock, some kind of ricochet off of the impact. There's just a lot of things flying downrange, so you're trying to avoid any kind of accidental impacts.
Now you have one side and not convertible. One side and not convertible, and two that you still like to shoot.
Now it's told that these conditions that we have today, which is a pretty solid left to right wind, pretty much full value, are the prevailing conditions on this course.
It's true.
Yesterday we had right to left, which was somewhat protected due to the ridge that runs the length of the right side of the course. So the early targets yesterday were somewhat protected. The later targets, not so much. But today, as we go further up the hill, they're becoming more and more exposed to the winds. So it's a challenge even when you're on the right target. But again, since we have two lines, it's very easy to engage the wrong target here.
Because the display was frozen because the camera was off. One impact. Yes.
can say as a U.S. shooter, it's nice to come to these different venues internationally, just to mix things up a little bit, because we tend to shoot similar courses, and you learn those ones very well. You learn the subtleties of the terrain and how the wind performs relative to that. That sometimes we get a little complacent then of what it actually takes to shoot a new course. So it's always fun for me to come to a new place and have to face all those additional challenges. It also increases your own database of how shots respond to different conditions. So then in the future, you may be shooting something, so then you can think back, okay, this was sort of like when we were in Sicily, when we did this, and it gives you a little bit more to feed off of in the future. Now, aside from that, international matches have really good food as well. Sicily is on the top of that list as well, along with the French match. So it's another good reason to be traveling to matches.
Oh yeah, it would have been serious. Back to the normal elevation of 46. Exactly. Why are we not C? Then I went down to C and it hit the camera. Just five. Allora.
Okay, we're back with the match after we got the cameras rolling again. Gary took out one of our cameras, so he gets. Possiamo vedere il bersaglio. So he gets one sighter. That's not convertible, and then he goes back to the match. So we've got Nicola Salvador here from Maria Regina, one of our sponsors. Ciao Nicola, come va?
Buon pomeriggio a tutti, benissimo, siamo qua per commentare questo fine giornata di questa manifestazione. Siamo riusciti a riprendere dopo un piccolo problemino tecnico, un cavo purtroppo è stato colpito e le telecamere non funzionavano più, e vediamo Gary che si accinge a ultimare la sua stringa sull'ultimo bersaglio di 1640 metri, impacta. Terminato la sua stringa con un impact all'ultimo colpo, quindi per un totale di 25.240 punti. Vediamo il tiratore Riccardo Paceco prepararsi per l'ultimo tiro della piastra dei 1400 metri. Fuori. La nostra prospettiva sembrano sempre fuori di tanto e tendenzialmente basso, ma è proprio un fattore di prospettiva della telecamera, poi non effettivamente è sempre basso, sempre a sinistra o a destra, ma proprio dipende molto dall'angolazione. Cambio piastra, ci abbiamo la piastra dei 1520 metri. Le condizioni del vento sono leggermente peggiorate, è aumentato, ma è molto incostante. Si parlava dai 3 ai 5 metri al secondo, ma molto variabile, quindi non per niente semplice le correzioni. Specialmente ricordiamo che il primo colpo ha un punteggio più elevato rispetto al secondo e terzo scalare, di conseguenza riuscire a prendere la piastra al primo colpo comporta un punteggio maggiore, quindi un piazzamento sulla classifica sicuramente più alto e vantaggioso. Vediamo il primo colpo, basso, questo sembrerebbe basso centrale, anche perché la prospettiva della telecamera è perfettamente al centro.
Questa è la squadra che viene dall'Uruguay. Sono un gruppo di 5 o 6 tiratori che sono venuti dall'Uruguay a fare questa gara. Perciò se sei di Milano e ci guardi, non è lontano, Milano-Sicilia.
Impact, secondo colpo andato a segno, perfettamente centrale, leggermente basso, ma si riescono a prendere le stesse condizioni, ripetere il colpo velocemente, dovrebbero essere ancora a piastra. Infatti, impact, molto vicino. Molto importante avere un grande affinamento con il proprio spotter, in modo da riuscire a ripetere velocemente i colpi nel momento in cui le condizioni lo permettono.
Io sento. Il suo.
Allora, siamo sul sesto bersaglio, Spitzenbender. Pochi impatti, ricordiamoci che poi domani, no, anzi per la finale, la domenica tiriamo 1860 e 2000 metri, perciò già a queste distanze al miglio abbiamo ancora pochi impatti sarà più competitiva quando andiamo la domenica per la finale. Ricordiamo che questi bersagli sono legna rossa, sono bersagli MT Target che sono sponsorizzati dal nostro sponsor propriamente MT Target in Francia, acciaio balistico.
Andiamo ora a accingersi a tirare il secondo colpo alla piastra dei 1640 metri. Come potete vedere, la piastra è abbastanza pulita, non è sicuramente semplice arrivare a impattare queste distanze, specialmente dovuto anche alle condizioni del vento che ci sono quest'oggi e che c'erano anche ieri, anche se sembrerebbe andare migliorando, no Rod? Domani e domenica sembrerebbe.
Vediamo, stamattina era fantastico quando hanno cominciato, infatti Peter Westman, lo svedese, dai 500 ai 1300 ha fatto una clean, ha colpito tutti i bersagli, incluso il cold bore, poi ha fatto fatica tirando queste distanze nel pomeriggio con l'aumento del vento, perciò tutto ancora
tutto aperto
da vedere.
Poi, come abbiamo visto, sicuramente quest'anno un altro punto di difficoltà è la doppia linea, quindi bersagli blu e verdi e bersagli rossi. Qualche tiratore ha fatto confusione e ha sparato su uno anziché sull'altro,
Sì,
il grado di difficoltà aumenta.
Era il bersaglio di Danny Gilbert, però stamattina è venuto e adesso è il primo. Danny proviene dagli Stati Uniti, avevano qualche problema ieri e hanno tirato sull'altro bersaglio, hanno perso punti lì, però oggi hanno tirato veramente bene e sono in classifica, nei primi nella classifica.
Non è nato a segno
Nada no visto igual.
neanche questo
Queda
colpo,
un solo tiro, tenés 2 minutos.
manca l'ultimo colpo.
El viento sigue más o menos igual, no hay diferencia.
Uno spotter gli comunica al tiratore anche il tempo rimanente a 2 minuti, quindi può fare con calma per cercare di mettere a segno quest'ultimo colpo. I punti in palio sono tanti, specialmente sulle piastre più lunghe, quindi ogni punto è importante ai fini della classifica e per accedere alla finalissima di domenica, dove accederanno i primi 20 classificati di sera. Ultimo colpo, niente, non è andato a segno.
Cambiamo.
Abbiamo i ragazzi dell'Uruguay che si accingono a fare l'ultimo colpo della piastra di 1400 metri con un impatto e ora si spostano sulla piastra dei 1520, correzioni sull'ottica di elevazione.
Blanco 6, verde.
Lo spotter gli ricorda il bersaglio e anche il colore per essere sicuri di non sbagliare.
Dale suave porque tienes tiempo sola. Blanco 6 está a la izquierda, verde. Dale.
Stiamo verificando con regia per esserci qualche errore sulla grafica. Infatti ecco, hanno appena cambiato lo spotter. Primo colpo sulla piastra di 1520, sembrerebbe basso a destra, ma la prospettiva della telecamera ci potrebbe ingannare, anzi anche se è molto centrale potrebbe essere abbastanza veritiera.
Dale.
Vediamo sempre più spesso road tiratori che cercano di cronografarsi l'intera stringa anche durante la gara e non solo gli allenamenti. Anche tu no? Fai questa cosa?
Non ancora.
Non ancora.
Però l'ho fatta durante le prove per vedere se faccio degli sbagli, come utilizzo lo scatto, se mi posiziono bene, oppure anche se aggiungo qualche rear rest nella parte posteriore della carabina per vedere se tracca bene. Con quei video lì più quello che prendo dagli spotting scope mi aiuta a migliorare la performance.
Ok, quindi usi anche la trigger cam negli allenamenti o una specie di trigger cam?
Sì, una digital camera che attacco ho provato questo attacco austriaco, attacchi il telefonino, è aggiustabile, è perfetto.
Ah, per lo spotting scope?
Dello spotting scope, per poi vedere se gli impatti che abbiamo fatto nel plotting se erano giusti oppure no.
Ok.
Bajalo uno y uno a la izquierda.
Vediamo che lo spotter gli ha dato la correzione, presumibilmente un 1000 a destra e un 1000 alto, quindi se lo spotter ha ragione la nostra prospettiva è completamente diversa dalla loro e a noi sembrava basso a destra, invece gli ha dato la correzione a destra. Anche questo sembrava basso a destra, ma non possiamo esserne certi. Spostiamo sul bersaglio 7 nei 1640 metri, 6 minuti rimanenti. Questo direttore utilizza una Savage 110 Elite con calzatura MDT, ottica Night Force, attacco Burris, sicuramente per sfruttare la possibilità dell'inclinazione. Probabilmente i 20 moa della slitta non sono sufficienti e intercambiando l'inserto all'interno degli anelli del tubo si riesce ad aumentare ancora da 10 a 20 moa l'inclinazione dell'ottica.
Pasaba por arriba también, ojo.
Bersaglio numero 7 verde sponsorizzato da Markscope.
Sí, dale. 7, el que está arriba. Perdón. El que está abajo, Dale.
Vediamo il primo colpo. Più importante. Impact. Fantastico, leggermente a destra, ma entrare al primo colpo ai 1640 è un gran andare. Impact.
Wow,
Fantastico.
wow.
I primi due colpi gli fruttano sicuramente un gran punteggio ai fini della classifica. Il terzo invece non è andato a segno, sembrerebbe basso a sinistra. Tanto la grafica ci propone i nostri sponsor che grazie anche a loro potete vedere in diretta questa fantastica manifestazione. Impact.
Ammazza.
La grafica ci mostra 4 impact su 5, anche se a noi non risultano 4 su 5, ad ogni modo 4 su 5, risultato eccellente che gli frutta attualmente 28.800 punti, ma bisogna verificare il quarto colpo. Che hanno corretto, il terzo colpo non era andato a segno. Abbiamo un altro tiratore, si sta preparando. Per la seconda piastra 1520, 2 impatti su 5 sulla piastra dei 1400. Vediamo che utilizza una carabina blaster con ottica March. Come potete sentire anche dai nostri microfoni, il vento inizia nuovamente a soffiare abbastanza intensamente.
Questa è la squadra che proviene dalla Lituania. E lui è militare, infatti. Dovidas. Hanno guidato dalla Lituania fino alla Sicilia.
Un bel viaggetto. E beh, indubbiamente non ti si può dire niente, Rod, hai fatto un ottimo lavoro, hai portato tiratori, hai fatto diventare un evento ancora più internazionale di quello che era l'anno scorso.
Grazie. È il nostro piacere vedere tutta sta gente. Aiste il suo spotter mi ha detto che il prossimo anno lei viene a tirare.
Anche lei, bene.
E tira benissimo, ho visto delle video che mi hanno mostrato di dove si allenano e tira benissimo lei.
E indubbiamente fa sempre piacere vedere anche qualche donna che si accinge a questo sport. Infatti, che prevalentemente è maschile.
Infatti abbiamo visto anche dal Canada con Maureen Snow, che poi c'è sempre Giulia, c'è mi ricordo
Freya,
sì, c'è Freya dalla Danimarca,
che in teoria dovrebbero vivere qua in Sicilia, però se lei
sì, infatti
ora.
Sono militari loro, anche loro.
Nu nėra net dulkių. Nieko nesimato, nėra jokių net dulkių.
Dovidas tira col calibro 300 norma, infatti.
Vediamo anche, si vede la differenza rispetto a tanti altri della lunghezza della canna, sicuramente è più contenuta. Dopo utilizza l'estensione per il bipod per avere un punto di appoggio più distante possibile tra anteriore e posteriore, che garantisce una stabilità più elevata. Ora probabilmente non gli tornano i calcoli di elevazione, sta verificando se sia tutto corretto. Effettivamente non abbiamo notato neanche gli sbuffi intorno alla piastra.
Toliau žiūrės.
Atsizuominau.
Leftą padariau 1.9.
Vediamo anche che utilizza un sacchetto al centro dell'arma, che sicuramente sarà solo per aumentarne il peso e dargli più stabilità. Normalmente quei tipi di sacchetti vengono impiegati per un tiro tipo PRS più tattico, ma ovviamente in questo caso solo per garantirgli un peso maggiore.
Aš mačiau treisą, bet iki vidurio tik distancija. O kur kulka dingsta, nesuprantu.
Nesuprantu, žinok, ir aš nematau.
Infatti prima ho fatto l'intervista con Davide, se le ho chiesto un po' cosa ne pensa del campo, anche perché lui vede normalmente i campi militari, e mi fa che il campo è molto competitivo, molto challenging per via della topografia del campo. Mi ha detto che è un'esperienza che prima lui non aveva, perciò si vede anche oggi ha qualche difficoltà a stare anche in piastra, perciò anche per la gente più esperienzata, lui lo fa di lavoro, può essere un gran bel challenge.
Sì, sicuramente sparare su un campo dritto facilita più il tiro, ma diventa un po' meno competitivo. Qui in questo caso, dovuto alla conformazione del campo, più difficile e più di conseguenza anche più divertente. Anche se sembrerebbe non trovarsi molto con le correzioni.
Non so quanto tempo gli rimane, ma mi sa che è un po' lentino.
E in questi casi non è semplice, una volta andati in confusione, resettare tutto quanto, resettare la testa anche e tornare a mettersi bene, perché se uno è fuori all'inizio, dopo è molto probabile non riuscire a tornare in piastra e buttare via tutti i colpi come ha fatto in questo caso. Adesso ho esaurito i colpi nella piastra dei 1520, passiamo alla piastra dei 1640. Vediamo se sarà riuscito a fare un bel reset e impattare su questa piastra che alla fine della classifica è sicuramente la più importante. Nel frattempo la regia si sposta su Lauber. Piastra del 1520.
Regia, ci dia l'altra visuale per favore, per un secondo.
Vediamo anche che sta avendo qualche piccolo problemino anche con il supporto posteriore, non riesce a trovare una posizione molto agevolmente. Vediamo il secondo colpo, niente.
Minute.
Terzo,
Ah, ok,
molto a
sì,
destra.
vedo. Molto a destra, le ha preso il vento.
Molto a destra.
Sarebbe intorno ai 6 mo a destra era. Sempre lo stesso punto.
Niente, neanche l'ultimo.
Mi rimane un colpo.
No, non ha già terminato. Faranno ancora.
Vediamo l'altra linea per favore. Un classico sacco TRG qua per la squadra uruguaiana.
Have some feedback later on.
So, did you see where you hit target number 2? You hit between the blue target behind you. At target number 2, at number 6. Yes. You hit between the blue target. You were way too high. Way too high.
Take your time, but we need the shooting line.
50?
Yeah, 50 first.
Bersaglio March del miglio.
Molto vicino alla telecamera.
Ah, quasi preso la telecamera.
Rischi
un
un'altra
altro.
volta.
Son 8 a la izquierda. Y para arriba, dale 5. Pará, caray, ráfaga, pará. Aguantá. Dale.
Golfo che si accinge a tirare il secondo colpo. No, non l'abbiamo visto in telecamera.
Pegates a la derecha, serían 4 clics más. A la izquierda.
Il suo spot gli comunica 4
Altura bien.
click a destra. Quindi occasione di mettere a sinistra fuori dalla nostra inquadratura. Terzo colpo.
Impacto.
Impact. Centrale.
Repetí. Está perfecto.
Impact.
Repetí. Pará que hay viento. Abrí.
Vediamo lo spotter che ha fatto aprire nuovamente l'otturatore al tiratore che era pronto per ritirare il suo Ultimo colpo. Ovviamente ha notato un cambiamento delle condizioni e
Dai!
dal via. Fuori. Ottimo lavoro sulla piastra del miglio, 2 impatti su 5.
Det är 20 sekunder kvar så jag håller kvar tills vi har ett bestånd. Jämnt och fint. Har du en bra position? Kolla ledbällen.
Squadra
Nu
svedese.
står Vimpen rakt ut.
Lui tira un 600 248 84 65 to 84. This is a Swedish team. He's running
Kom 02 vänster.
65 to 84 at the mile.
Träff.
On the nicely done.
02 vänster. Håll kvar samma riktbild, kom ner ett klick.
Vediamo la velocità di ricarica.
Samma riktbild, kom ner två klick.
Stesso impatto, stesso impatto. Che ricarica ragazzi.
E per un calibro così è,
Wow.
è un gran sparare, eh.
Samma riktbild, kom ner
Io
4
verrei
klick.
2 click in giù perché lo doveva prendere quello.
Ja. Du träffar precis i överkant på plåten.
Ah, questo non è il migliore, è il numero 5, mi sono
Har du
sbagliato.
skjutit 5?
Ja, det har jag.
Okej, mål nummer 6, då tar vi det lugnt. Vimpen stod rakt ut när jag tittar på den nu.
Ja.
Det vill säga att du sköt med ganska mycket vind.
Ja.
Det vill säga att du höll ju ytterligare 0,2 från det vid korrektionen.
Nej. Jo, det gjorde jag såklart. In i vinden.
Questo è anche un chassis che manifatturano loro proprio. Perciò questa squadra, tante delle cose che hanno sono costi
Du var
che
ute
sono
till
fatti da
höger och så
loro.
höll du in ytterligare.
Ja.
Anche questo vediamo che
Ja.
lateralmente
Så då har vi
utilizza il cronografo
lite mer än
per
3 meter per sekund.
verificare la velocità.
Då går jag in och ändrar till 3,5.
Su spot sta
Då har vi
verificando
mål nummer 6.
spostamenti sul Kestrel.
13,9.
I think he asked him for his bullet velocity at one point because he said something in meters per second.
Vind 2,1 vänster.
Yes, 2,1 vänster.
2.8.
Då skjuter vi
He said
3,5 meter per sekund.
Ja, och jag är redo för när du vill.
Vänta lite grann.
Ja.
Nu har vi vind.
Du säger att jag ska skjuta dig.
Ja, då är det som.
Oj, jag får inte i den här. Oj, jag får inte i mina patroner här.
Sta avendo qualche problema.
Okej.
Ja, du har ett som.
Vediamo il primo colpo.
Rätt i sida, kom
Leggermente
ner
basso, molto
0,2.
vicino.
Windage era perfetto, però sembra che ha qualche problema con le ricariche.
Tutto ciò gli
Ta det lugnt va.
fa perdere tempo.
Gott om tid.
Può darsi è il sizing dei bossoli, pensi?
Sì, anche se prima non sembrava avere questi problemi. Probabilmente non vorrei che fosse qualcosa che si era bloccato all'interno dell'azione sull'eccesso della
Samma
rete,
vind, kom ner 0,2.
gli impediva la chiusura.
Så då är vi på 13,6.
Anche magari un innesco perché probabilmente spingerà forte per un
Ja.
6,5
8
d'84.
minuter kvar, gott om tid. Ta det lugnt.
Quindi magari un innesco che è uscito e si è bloccato dentro sul recesso dei tenoni. Andiamo al secondo colpo con il primo molto vicino, vediamo se tutto ciò.
Possiamo guardare l'altra linea per favore?
Ingen observation gjort. Då var det precis säkert över. Kom ner ytterligare ett klick.
Abbiamo
Om den försvinner bakom.
Steve Giannone.
Ja, ta en till. Samma vind.
Anche lui partecipa a questa gara fin dalla prima edizione.
Maintenant. Ça monte trop.
Vediamo Steve utilizzare un bipiede un po' particolare con un sistema idraulico per regolare l'alzo, l'apertura e la chiusura delle gambe e di conseguenza l'alzo o l'abbasso del bipiede.
Tu t'appliques, hein? Parce que là, tu étais bas et après c'était haut.
Mais je pense que c'est la même.
Ok, bon. Ok. Bon, vas-y, on y va. Ok, pour moi c'est rouge, vert.
Anche se probabilmente dalla regia stiamo sentendo l'audio dell'altra linea.
Sì, abbiamo i microfoni sulle due.
Se att det var lite låga farter alltså.
Ja, 4 meter per sekund.
Prêt? Ok, maintenant. Impact. La même. C'est le dernier.
Perfettamente centrale, leggermente basso. Vediamo se riesce a battere velocemente.
No, tutta caremato.
Basso.
Ricordiamoci che un colpo basso a questa distanza hai una rosata più o meno di 7-8 pollici, perciò può essere un colpo più in alto, un colpo più in basso.
Tu as combien de clics à gauche maintenant?
Vediamo adesso Steve che dovendo cambiare il bersaglio, azionando la manovella riesce ad alzare e abbassare abbastanza velocemente senza dover modificare
donc
l'altezza sulle gambe.
100 clics. Ok, 15, tu mets... C'est bon, tu touches pas les clics, ok? Tu touches pas les clics au latéral. On a encore 9 minutes, donc on a le temps, ok? Tu me dis dès que tu es prêt.
Donc 6 verts.
6 verts, ok? Porté à gauche, à côté de la vigne, ok? Tu me dis dès que tu es prêt. Prêt?
Stiamo ascoltando Roman che guida il giocatore Steve. Maintenant.
Ok, tu descends 3. Ok, descends 3. Latéral, c'était bon, Vintage, ok? Tu attends, c'est rouge. Bouge pas. Ok, tu peux aller.
Steve che
Maintenant.
decide di tirare il secondo colpo, tirato, basso, anche questo.
Ok, tu montes 3.
Correzione del
Latéral, c'est bon, maintenant.
suo spotter.
Quando lo spotter ti dice maintenant, in questo caso sarebbe dire adesso, hai più o meno 3 secondi per partire. Se non sei partito, sta ancora...
Tire pas, tu me dis dès que tu es prêt.
Gli ho detto dimmi quando sei pronto. Stai più di 3 secondi prima che scatti, hai perso la
Tu
condizione.
me dis dès que tu es prêt. Ok, now.
Perché lo spotter sta cercando proprio quella condizione identica. Perciò quanto te la dà, hai 2-3 secondi. Ancora basso.
parti trop, je sais pas ce qui se passe. C'est la mute, je pense. Ok, moi, lateral on est bon, d'accord?
Non si sa mai con
Tu vises la
Steve,
base des cibles, ok? Tu vises la
perché
base
l'altro
des
anno
cibles,
è
ok?
cominciata così, poi ha fatto 4 sul miglio,
Tre.
perciò è sempre un gioco.
Non è mai chiuso fino all'ultimo colpo.
Toujours haut.
Anche perché
Ancora
ricordiamo
basso.
che i colpi sulla piastra del miglio valgono di più
Sì.
rispetto alle piastre di distanza inferiore. Ieri Steve aveva sparato molto bene, aveva fatto un buon punteggio.
Solamente quel bipiede, hai visto come si è mollato sul piattaforma, è troppo indietro,
Ok, on prend notre temps, on a 6 minutes, d'accord? On a le
perciò
temps.
quando rincola queste
Tende a scappare fuori.
Tu le vois? Il est sulla
Forse
pista.
ci vuole
sta
una
mollando.
leggermente più larga.
Sporting vert.
la
O addirittura
piattaforma.
forse è meglio
un alto.
senza.
Forse è meglio ancora senza in questo
Sì.
caso. Hello Harry.
On a le temps, hein? C'est pas en te presser. Hein? On a
Voilà.
5 minutes encore. Non, 6 minutes.
Steve si
On a 6
prepara a
minutes pour
tirare
5
sulla
cartouches,
piastra
donc
del
c'est bon.
miglio,
Tu
1640
l'installes
metri.
correctement. Donc les
Cinque
corrections
colpi.
c'est 123.
Come si chiamano questi?
Piedini.
Et combien clics latéral au total?
Sì, i piedini
Au latéral,
del
combien
bipiede
clics?
di Steve toccano già la piattaforma, perciò quando rincola
Ok, tu rajoutes
c'è la possibilità che il bipiede non può scivolare liberamente indietro perché tocca la piattaforma.
C'est bon? On finit?
Non ha sicuramente un buon tracking, tende ad
Alto.
alzare.
Sì,
5 minutes.
deve spingere quella piattaforma più indietro, così la carabina può rincolare senza sbattersi in quella piattaforma lì.
Ok.
Quello che dico sempre a tanti clienti è sempre che l'attrezzatura può
Ok,
essere
metto.
buona quanto si vuole, però la posizione fa tutto. Sicuramente è una delle cose più importanti.
Pas vu. J'ai pas vu, mais je pense que tu étais trop. Ok, descends 3 clics. Ok, maintenant.
40
Non so se erano i
secondi.
suoi 40 secondi o...
Penso di sì. Preso la camera.
Pas. Bouge pas.
Rischio
On
ancora.
Recule, actulas.
Questa telecamera del miglio
Dice
oggi
di
è
non
stata a
muoversi.
rischio più di qualche volta.
Ok, monte 4 clics. Tranquille, tranquille. 4 clics, t'as monté 4. Ok, on y va. Là, Vindage, maintenant c'est bon, d'accord? Tu étais juste bas. Ok, maintenant. Toujours bas.
Aia.
Ok, tu montes encore 3 clics.
Pericoloso Steve quando fa così. Guarda quando la spinge dietro gli tocca.
Monté? T'as monté 3 clics?
Si tende,
Ok.
tende a impennare, ad alzarsi quando
Ok,
spara.
maintenant.
Guarda.
Impact.
Impact.
Tu montes un clic, monte un clic, monte un clic. Ok, prêt? Maintenant.
Vediamo se riesce a replicare.
On a monté,
Telecamera.
c'était bas.
Rischio ancora. E Steve chiude con un impatto al miglio, 1640 metri, e finisce la sua stringa.
Tu étais bien dans le gong ici.
Nel frattempo ci siamo spostati.
On a monté un pour être là. et
Ah,
c'était ici.
questa è la nostra amica Hilke Berger che proviene dalla Germania.
I would say, whenever it's time, you have like another implement when you organize. But I believe
Sembrerebbe anche su un 338 la Magnum.
very big thinking in the company. They want to start selling or they want to keep getting shops.
Anche se sembra calmo, non è ovvio il vento, vero? abbiamo visto due squadre tirando su quei bersagli lì che sono abbastanza bravi e comunque hanno fatto fatica a starci lì. Bersaglio Delta Optical numero 5.
On est sûr d'être vite, hein?
Ouais, non, vite, on va bien.
Non, non, c'était une question, c'était une question.
So in the moment you can surely buy the red. But I believe you have to pick up the gun.
Ja, ik weiß.
Abbiamo tutti ormai gli spotter, utilizzare spotting scope con reticolo, che è fondamentale per riuscire a stimare l'errore del colpo.
Infatti
fatto
vorrei
del-
vedere un bino spotter. Ne avevamo uno al giro che è un bino spotter con reticolo. Però non ci sono tanti, infatti forse c'è solamente una o due società al mondo che fanno un binocolo con reticolo e forse idoneo a questa disciplina, forse ce n'è solamente uno al momento.
Concordo pienamente.
Infatti abbiamo chiesto a 2 o 3 dei manifattori che sono qua come sponsor se ci possono fare un binocolo con il reticolo.
È sicuramente il binocolo, a differenza del classico spotting scope monoculare, ti permette sicuramente una visione con un angolo maggiore, ma soprattutto di stancare molto meno l'occhio e riuscire a avere una visione più nitida, più chiara, più rilassata, per riuscire a individuare il colpo che, ricordiamo, non è per niente semplice, perché su terra, sabbia, in determinate condizioni si fa veramente molta fatica a rilevare il punto di impatto.
Nicola, pensi che un prodotto del genere avrebbe anche un mercato nel settore caccia, da quello che vedi in armeria tu?
Ma con reticolo, a dire la verità, nel settore caccia non tanto. Forse anni fa poteva avere senso un primo piano focale con un reticolo per stimare una distanza. Oggi come oggi, con l'avvento di telemetri, binotelemetri, addirittura delle ottiche col telemetro, per la caccia forse non lo vedo un prodotto che potrebbe avere un gran successo. Per questo tipo di competizioni sicuramente è fondamentale.
Come ingrandimenti? Stiamo parlando di
L'80% delle ottiche che ci sono in questo momento in commercio come spotting scope monoculari sono tutte quante un ingrandimento fisso, non sono tantissime le aziende che fanno un ingrandimento variabile, però sicuramente avere un ingrandimento variabile, che ne so, un 20-60 come la maggior parte degli spotting scope tradizionali, sicuramente farebbe la differenza. Poi qualche ingrandimento in più non guasta mai, però chiaramente con la possibilità del variabile, perché in determinate condizioni dovute al miraggio, a condizioni di luce particolari, si farebbe veramente molta fatica a vedere l'impatto.
Sì, sono d'accordo. A me piacerebbe vedere un 15-45, 15-50 per darti anche una visualizzazione più grande di quello che come spotter hai bisogno di vedere, e con un reticolo sulla parte di sopra che è abbastanza fino, con non so, 20-30 MOA, e il reticolo che è più nella parte bassa del visuale, così puoi leggere gli impatti sulla parte bassa e sulla parte di sopra, poi ti dà abbastanza possibilità di guardare la traiettoria anche. Perciò il reticolo non deve essere al centro dell'ottica, ma può essere anche un po' offset verso la parte più bassa dell'ottica, così ti lascia guardare più
la parabola.
Sì.
Poi sicuramente un grandangolare ti aiuta a vedere anche alberi, piante, qualsiasi punto di riferimento che può darti un'indicazione del vento vicino al bersaglio. come un po' nel bench rest, appunto proprio come vediamo in sovraimpressione March aveva fatto un'ottica con un reticolo con un offset spostato verso l'alto per poter riuscire a vedere le bandiere sulla parte bassa.
Du hast noch 5 Minuten, Hege.
No, he authorized me to cover the course of every competition.
Nel frattempo vediamo che si sono spostati sul bersaglio dei 1640 metri.
Possiamo vedere l'altro tiratore per il momento, per favore? Sento la voce di Harry. Eccolo, Harry e Stefan.
Okay, left edge. Send it. Oké, vanaf hier, nieuwe correctie. Zes, kliks, rechts.
Bella inquadrazione qua di nostro sponsor Solid Solution Designs con Harry Drescher.
Oké, let op, de wind is weer opgepikt. Elevation is nu 11,9. Oké, windage is 1,3. Oké. Ik voel constante wind. Ja, maak jezelf ready. Ja. Mik hem op linksboven. Go. Oh, nog een keertje.
Vediamo anche Stefan,
Twee
il tiratore
kliks
mancino.
naar links.
Ne ho visti
Hetzelfde
parecchi
punt,
quest'anno i
linksboven.
tiratori
Infatti,
mancini.
sì.
Lui a differenza di altri ha anche appunto
ja.
l'azione mancina, quindi caricamento e manetto otturatore sulla parte sinistra.
En go.
Se fosse mancino preferirei avere il bolt sull'altro lato.
Tantissimi tiratori hanno questa preferenza.
Però abbiamo visto anche qua abbiamo una carabina VR che
Ja,
ti
ja,
permette
maakt niet uit.
anche
Naar
di
links,
avere
klikken. 3 kliks naar links.
La manetta dell'otturatore.
l'otturatore
Click
che
down.
lo puoi avere sulla parte sinistra o destra
Linkerboven.
sulla stessa azione.
Ja,
È
send it.
un carabina VR che abbiamo in esposizione qua alla gara.
Wow. Volgende.
Fa fatica Stefano a trovare questo bersaglio.
Elevatie. Wat was je elevatie nu?
Qua stiamo parlando di gente che è molto precisa. Sono sicuro che se dovrei misurare quella munizione sarebbe perfetta.
Guarda,
conosco Stefan come tiratore.
Anche la regia
Bella
ci inquadra
910,
10 metri al
grazie.
secondo.
Nieuwe elevatie. Target.
Hai visto
6.
la dispersione o no?
No,
non so
stavo
se
cercando ma la regia ci ha tolto l'immagine.
ci puoi mostrare ancora regia
9, 10, 9, 12, 9, 12.
Fantastico,
Quindi
fantastico.
Su 5 colpi.
Naar links.
Un SD
Grazie,
inferiore
regia.
all'1.
18 kliks.
Anzi, forse
Fantastico.
inferiore.
Sicuro Stefano fa della munizione. Mi sta facendo la munizione per le 4 sedi. Perciò
Sei sicuro che è una garanzia?
sì.
Dai.
Soprattutto Stefan
klaar voor?
tira anche la versione del
Snelheid
2
verhoogd
miglia
naar
di
910.
una gara simile della King che li abbiamo incontrati in Francia con il suo 416 Barrett e ho visto che
Ga voor
aveva anche
linkerboven
munizione fantastica con queste dispersioni molto molto piccole.
Even wachten. Hold, hold. En ja, fire. Veel te hoog.
Non l'abbiamo visto.
910.
Ancora
Non
9 e 10.
9 e 10. Io me lo prendo in lotteria
È
questo.
molto
was
interessante
oké,
avere
zag
il
hem maar bovenin
cronografo
gaan.
anche per noi montato là di fianco per capire.
Inquadriamo regia quei numeri là.
Hij was punt, richtpunt was linksboven. Hè? Ja, exact linksboven. Kijk. Oké, dan wordt het top, center top.
Sarei curioso di vedere la standard deviation
Infatti-
di questa stringa una
Wow,
volta finita.
4
Non
kliks
cambia
down.
niente se il sesto colpo. Pensavo che fosse il suo
Wel,
aggeggio
center target.
non funzionava,
knallen
ma
maar. Wait. Wacht even. Ja, pompen maar. Maar nog een keer. Hetzelfde punt, alleen
Ancora
linkerrand.
9-10, non si muove.
Go, 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 go.
No.
Di sicuro non è la moneta.
Zie je wat het
Passo
scheelt?
ancora.
Linkerbovenhoek. Linkerbovenhoek. Stand.
Impact.
Eentje.
Leggermente
Wat is je
destra.
final elevation?
Attento che...
909.4 ancora.
Hetzelfde.
Che costanza.
Bravo. Vai Stefan. Ci sta.
Ai, ai, ai.
Aia.
Appena
Wat is
fuori.
nu final elevation?
Stiamo sul bersaglio 7.
Wat is je final elevation?
1640.
Ferry li guida e gli dice di guardare la sua
En windage
elevazione.
was? Oké, dus er zit een punt 5 offset in de hoogte nu.
Ferry che proviene dalla
Ok,
Solid
target,
Solution Design,
auto.
che fanno anche
27.
delle armi per questa gara custom. Il tiratore è anche un venditore molto appassionato, molto
We hebben nog 5 minuten.
ha una conoscenza del gioco fantastica. Sono pochi infatti gli armaioli al mondo
Neem even een
contemporaneo
momentje,
che
hè.
hanno
Zullen we
una
rustig aan?
conoscenza vera con pratica, diciamo, di questo tipo di gioco.
Ah, stand by.
Sicuramente da tiratore chi fa questo mestiere qui
Ok,
aiuta
target
tantissimo
7.
anche il
Elevation.
cliente nella scelta del
We gaan
del
nu voor de
prodotto,
offset. Ik ga de
un
offset
consiglio
toepassen,
di
ja?
cosa sia più adatto alle sue esigenze
16.3.
fa tanto,
Up.
specialmente se il tiratore non è molto,
En
non è
windage,
molto esperto
links.
e ha bisogno di dei
20
consigli
kliks, 2.0.
realmente veri e non solo dal punto di vista commerciale, ecco.
Infatti
Ah, laat maar zien. Richtpunt.
dimmi un po' Nicola, parlaci un po' della
Center
tua
target.
azienda, l'Armeria Regina.
Siamo una realtà.
Dove siete
Che-
innanzitutto? In quale regione?
Siamo a Conegliano in provincia di Treviso in Veneto, quindi nel nord-est Italia.
Even wachten op de wind.
Io sono la quarta generazione che porta
Center target, hè?
avanti l'armeria, quindi è un lavoro di
Oké, we gaan
famiglia
voor de left edge.
da tantissimi
Send
anni.
it.
Ci siamo negli anni specializzati su quello che è il tiro lunga distanza. Nel
Bravo,
frattempo
Stefano.
ho fatto l'impact 1640. Ci siamo specializzati
Nog een keer,
sul
hetzelfde.
tiro di
Ik heb niks
precisione.
gezien. Go, dat was een hit.
E nel frattempo
Non cambiano questi numeri.
Standard deviation
909,
bassissima.
fantastica
Per
munizione. Vai Stefan, vai.
Andiamo.
Ja, perfect.
Impact.
Waar mik je nu?
Fantastico.
Ietsje hoger mikken, pieletje erbij.
Forse questo è il bersaglio suo, vai.
Ai, ai, ai. Oké. 2 kliks naar links.
Mi ha dato 3 click, quindi presumibilmente 0,3 mil fuori, quindi non era,
Voor je
non
de
era
wind,
fuori
die
di
zwelt aan.
tantissimo.
Doe maar 3 kliks. Ja, hetzelfde. Even wachten.
Ragazzi, se vi piace il calcio, forse anche
No,
questo
non
sport vi
problema.
piacerà perché avete lì la rete, avete i pali.
Oké. Go.
Andiamo.
Gol!
Impact.
Bravo Stefan, bravo.
Even wachten met deze.
Vediamo l'ultimo colpo. Cavolo. 3 su 4 è già un bel
Ben je klaar
viaggiare,
voor?
è al miglio.
We hebben nog zat
Perché-
3 minuten, hè, dus wacht even, hij is aan het gusten.
Qui a noi e a voi sulle telecamere sembra tutto bello, tutto facile, vicino, ma possiamo garantirvi che è tutto fuorché facile.
Just for our foreign friends, have you noticed the ammo
rustig
consistency
opbouwen.
on Stefan's string?
Ja, waar zat jij nog 1 keer? Je richtpunt was net
For
left
quite a
edge,
number
hè?
of rounds, he stayed. Basically, his numbers were not moving at all.
Ah, dit wordt een beetje een gokje, dus even kijken. Oké, ben je er klaar voor? Feeling lucky?
Feeling lucky.
Left edge, hetzelfde als net.
Ci stanno provando
Ok,
il tutto per
ready?
tutto.
And send it, go!
Un po' in ritardo sulla chiamata dello spotter.
Siamo gol. No.
No, Niente.
Terza ronda.
Harry che si è divertito un mondo tirando l'ultimo colpo lì.
Bravi.
Bravi ragazzi.
Bravi.
Ah, tutto dai.
Tiratore siciliano, Emilio Augusta. Con lo spotter Saro Iacono. Lo spotter è Saro Iacono lì. Regia, cambiamo lo spotter, nome Saro Iacono.
Calibro 338, sacco TRG 42.
Calibro 338 Lapua. E ragazzi, guardate questo sacco qua. In Italia ci sono tanti di questi sacco in giro.
Tantissimi.
Tutti questi che hanno una carabina del genere possono già gareggiare qui.
Sì, assolutamente è competitiva. Come avete visto, l'esperienza, il tiro, l'affiatamento tra spotter e tiratore fanno una gran parte del gioco. Indubbiamente anche l'arma, ma già con un'arma di questo tipo si è super competitivi. Mi sa che o ha sbagliato bersaglio o c'è un problema con la
È
telecamera.
successo questi giorni che abbiamo visto
Anch'io l'ho
anche
visto.
impatti sull'altro bersaglio, forse è successo questo ad
Sì,
Emilio.
bersaglio rosso. Vai Emilio, bersaglio rosso.
Tira quelle orna di A-Tips, guardate quelle palle lì, orna di A-Tips, anche loro uno sponsor di questa gara, orna di...
No, allora Emilio sei un 1000 up. Allora, devi scendere di un 1000.
Saro che ha, infatti Emilio che ha uno spotter molto esperienza, lo spotter Saro Iacono,
E 02 vai a destra.
inquadrato qui, che anche fa il plotting. Plotting normalmente si fa tanto in F-Class, in LR, ILR si vede,
Poco
però
quando
ancora ho notato che c'è ancora tanta gente che non lo fa.
Telecamera ho paura.
Telecamera.
Abbiamo visto la telecamera muoversi un attimo.
Infatti penso che l'acciaio balistico l'abbiamo bisogno per metterlo dietro le telecamere, che sta diventando un tiro alla telecamera qua.
Dove c'è quell'erba? Cioè devi scendere almeno altri 2-3 click.
Di che?
Ah, così scendi.
Sia Rosario Iacono che Emilio Augusta, anche loro partecipano fin dalla prima edizione di questa manifestazione. Tiratori che si muovono su questo campo, quindi hanno anche esperienza del basso,
allora
appena sotto
1, 2, 3
la
click a
piastra.
destra e alzo qua. E alza 05.
Siamo ancora sul bersaglio Schmittenbender. Guardate quelle orne di A-Tips, abbiamo visto di tante di queste orne di qua.
Sì, penso una delle più utilizzate.
Sì. E sono anche disponibili, vero? Sono anche
Sì.
disponibili.
A differenza di altri marchi si trovano abbastanza costantemente, visti i periodi di mancanza di materiale, difficoltà di reperibilità dovuti a 1000 motivi che tutti conosciamo.
Soprattutto gli inneschi che già da un anno che non si vedono le 2.15, penso. Non so dove stanno, però adesso avremo palle, polvere, ma senza inneschi.
Guarda, io mi ricordo ancora
nella montagna, Emilio.
2021 ero negli Stati Uniti a fare una gara e c'era un referente Federal, non lo so sinceramente che ruolo avesse nell'azienda, ma era lì a rappresentare appunto Federal e mi diceva i prossimi inneschi probabilmente in Europa verranno spediti nel 2025, quindi nel 2021 io mi sono messo quasi a ridere a sentire questa affermazione, eppure aveva ragione, non si sono più visti. Senza contare il prezzo al quale sono arrivati, che è veramente elevato.
Incredibile.
E poi
Regia, ci mostri un po' l'altra linea per favore?
ancora.
Vediamo l'altra linea per un momento.
Anzi 0-2 danni Emilio.
Questa è la squadra svizzera con Chris Battisson. Chris che è anche un istruttore con la sua accademia Dynamic Evolution, e ex militare con tanta esperienza anche nelle forze speciali.
Impact.
Tirano un'arma francese. Bella inquadrazione del nostro amico Chris Battisson. Visto che le stavo mostrando esattamente dove è andata.
Target 6, c'est bon. On a 9 minutes. Tranquille. Feu.
Vediamo il primo colpo 1520
Je vais
vicino.
pas compter comme impact. Tu vises l'angle en bas à gauche. L'angle en
impattato.
bas à gauche.
Vediamo con che velocità
Ok. Là, tu étais sur l'angle en bas à gauche. Correction.
ripete il colpo.
3 clics à droite. Et tu remontes 3 clics.
Mostraci l'altra linea per favore. Vediamo la stringa del miglio sull'altro lato.
È andata poco alta, però io non lo toccherei. Compenso un po', non toccare niente. Puoi andare.
Vediamo l'ultimo colpo di Emilio al miglio. No, non è andato a segno.
L'altra linea per favore, grazie.
L'ultimo non l'ho visto.
A destra. A destra.
Vai, bravo,
Perfettamente
bravo.
centrale. Ma non sono
Un
molti a
VSC.
utilizzare il caricatore per...
Infatti,
Anche perché probabilmente utilizzando queste palle qui molto lunghe non in tanti riescono a utilizzare il caricatore per ripetere il colpo in maniera veloce.
on voit ici notre ami de la Suisse, Chris Battisson, Val-de-Quentin.
T'as ton chargeur? Ok. Et ben ferme ta culasse et tu fais feu quand tu veux.
Vediamo il primo colpo sulla piastra del miglio. Impact.
Bravo,
Fantastico.
tanti punti. La mem,
Sì.
fai la stessa cosa, gli dice. Bam.
La même.
Impact.
Bravo.
La velocità e la rapidità che dà il caricatore.
Stop.
No.
Mets-toi sur le partie basse.
Lo spazio era bloccato il tiratore. Gli ha dato la correzione.
Bravo, wow.
Tanti
même,
punti qui.
Partie basse, souviens-toi, tu me la soignes. On a 6 minutes, soigne-la.
Gli ha fermato ancora 6 minuti.
Impact.
Wow.
Quasi nello stesso punto. Complimenti.
Hey!
Grandissimo.
Bravo Chris, bravo.
Bravo veramente. Il caricatore gli dà una rapidità di fuoco che non riesce a avere con un normale bolt action monocolpo.
Wow, fantastico. Ecco ancora un altro tiratore della squadra francese, Vi saluto di qua. Sylvain Lamy, che è anche uno dei nostri commentatori, lo vedremo domani, commentatore francese. Patrick.
Ok, 141, on dérive, tu me mets moins 25. Parallaxe, on est à 1400. Peut-être t'es en train d'enlever. Non, moins 25. Et si tu mets sur la 5 rouge. La 5 rouge. On commence dans 30 secondes. Hein. Secondes. 10 seconds. T'es bien sur la 5 rouge? Ok. Alors, centre basse, feu libre. Allez, feu libre. Bord gauche.
Bersaglio delta.
Bord gauche. Pareil, bord gauche.
Anche loro comunque stanno adottando un approccio molto rapido.
Infatti.
Che momentaneamente non gli sta ripagando, ma probabilmente gli garantisce qualche chance in più di
Ok, tu me mets dérive.
avvicinarsi alla piastra.
Moins 10 clic. L10. Non, moins 10, donc si tu avais déjà 25, ça fait 35. Non, tu touches à rien. On ne touchera pas à l'élévation de toute façon. Centre masse. Elle n'y va pas. T'as la tiré combien? 5, on passe à l'autre. 4? Ouais, je savais bien que tu avais tiré 4. Ok, sur la 6.
Ci spostiamo a 1520.
La 6 rouge.
Bersaglio numero 6. Sponsorizzato da Schmidt & Bender.
Non, c'est ton problème de caméra. 157. Et à combien on dérive total? Tu restes à 35. Tu restes à 35. Allez, centre masse sur la 6, rouge. Quand tu veux, feu libre. Ça ne m'étonne pas.
4 touches la dernière.
Ah ouais, je sais. Allez.
Non so se potete sentirlo dal microfono, ma il vento passa veramente da momenti in cui quasi non soffia, delle folate che spostano veramente di parecchio il proiettile. Quindi per gli spotter è un momento abbastanza complicato, perché con un vento sostenuto ma costante si riesce a avere una maggior facilità di interpretazione, ma con questa incostanza di folate che vanno e che tirano e che mollano è molto complicato.
J'ai pas vu. Refais 11h.
Con che rapidità
T'as vu où aller?
Sta sparando.
Derrière le 6. Il t'en reste 5? Hein? Il m'en reste une.
Anche
Tu vas,
se no,
enlève-moi 10 clics. De 25, tu passes à 15.
non riescono a trovare
Allez,
la
centre
giusta
masse.
quadra per entrare a bersaglio.
Oh. Laisse tomber. T'as vu où aller?
Possiamo vedere l'altra linea per favore?
Allez, 7. J'arrive. Mais règle là, j'arrive.
Squadra della Danimarca con Nils.
Stil di top.
Tira con una carabina Sacco M10.
Spotter ready.
Forse è l'unica a questa gara che c'è.
Ja, du sidder nede klokken 5,
vicino.
lige uden for skiven. Du skal lidt til venstre. 1-2 klik. Et klik.
Thank you. Thanks.
Spotter ready. Lige kanten. Højden er rigtig, Marker. Du skal mere til venstre. Måske bare holde left edge. Spotter ready. Ja, hit. Perfekt,
Impact.
Niels.
Leggermente alto a sinistra. Ottimo punto di partenza per cercare di mettere a segno i 2 colpi rimanenti sulla pista di 1520. Vediamo.
Ja, klokken 6. Perfekt.
Impact.
Skal jeg op, eller hvad? Nej, du bliver, hvor du er.
Vediamo l'ultimo. No.
Spotter ready.
Wow.
Perfekt, Niels. Spotter ready. Du har 7 minutter.
Piastre
Masser.
del miglio.
Niels, helt roligt. Spotter ready. Og du sidder op. Du sidder klokken 1. Ja. 2. Ja. Og så skal du til venstre. Det har jeg gjort. Godt. Spot ready.
Vediamo se riescono a mettere a segno.
Så ikke.
No. Non l'abbiamo visto nell'inquadratura.
Spot ready.
Ancora
Ikke
fuori.
set, Marker.
Non riescono.
Ja, det tror jeg, du er. Prøv at komme lidt ned. Prøv at holde bund skive. Prøv at holde lav på skiven. Ikke set. Hvor fanden er du hen?
She managed to grab a few more points on this round. This team may really do well because they got 2 on the first, 3 on the second, and well, they still have a chance to take a third one. Remember, the last 3 the last 3 shots carried the same amount of points. So you still in the run if you manage to get 1 or 2 of those.
Ja, du er til venstre for skiven.
Okay, so that's a fair
Ja,
performance
det
from the Danish team there.
God skydning, Marker. Fuck det, du havde 5 træf. Havde du ikke 5 træf? Sgu da flot, mand.
Что ж ты делал? Так я могу здесь примерить. Вытягивай до конца.
Там пенопласт надо.
200,
Vediamo ora Arthur prepararsi per la sua stringa.
Пятерка красная.
Да.
Артур, пятерка красная.
Sono i nostri amici della Lettonia che sono qua con noi in 5 o 6. Tirano con un 6-5 PRC. 6-5 PRC.
Yes.
6-5 PRC.
Sveiciens visiem Latvijā fanojošiem par Latvijas komandu. Arturs saņemsies un es ceru, ka jūs visi turiet īkšķus, lai viņš trāpītu un vējš viņam būtu labvēlīgs. Tad šautuvē mazliet īsumā pastāstīšu tiem latviešiem, kas mūs klausās. Šautuvēs pašreiz ir pūš vējš no kreisās puses un galvenais ir pieķerties pie pirmā mērķa, lai tālāk nākamajos mērķos jau proporcionāli varētu pielikt vai atņemt vēju.
Davis.
Yeah.
How's your experience here in Sicily? You come a long way from Latvia.
Excellent. This is our first time there, and how we're laughing that this is a personal record for each of us.
It is pretty interesting from your side because you're shooting relatively light calibers, 6.5 PRC, you said,
yes.
Right? So it's quite a bold decision to come this way with a 6.5 PRC at these distances, but it seems you guys are doing well today. Tell us a little bit, how are you training for this match in Latvia?
You know that we in Latvia have only option training in short distance like 300 meters and 2 times per year getting longer military range, 1 kilometer. But for preparing for these competitions, we went 4 times this year to Poland for trainings.
Fantastic. Yeah, Poland has to be one of the probably largest group of shooters in Europe in terms of shooting and volume of shooters, right?
Yeah, Poland is excellent, and there's an option to get in their military ranges for shooting also shooters from other countries like Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia.
Yeah, I guess I have to pay you guys a visit and spoke to Dovydas about this and maybe a visit to Lithuania and Latvia as well.
You are welcome. You can come in Latvia and shoot also 300 meters.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that not all of the shooters have ranges where to practice, as they were telling us. They only have 300-meter ranges, so they have to cross over to the Polish border to be able to train and do this match.
Yeah, and how you see the bullet is on the right side. It means that he needs to add a little bit windage.
Еще добавь, высота отлично. 0,4.
Yeah, Wadims is telling that the high is excellent. You need to add more on the wind.
He's good for elevation. He needs more wind. Yeah.
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 But we compare 6.5 PRC with a lot of these guys who are shooting with the 338, and we kick them ass.
Yeah, the competitive spirit on the range is very, very strong, and I'm happy to see, shooters who come from places who don't have ranges. I noticed, I think on the leaderboard, Oliver Saliba, also Maltese like me, come from a country where we don't have any ranges, and he's topping the charts there, Oliver. So. Yeah, if people travel and they're willing to travel and get their things together, there's opportunity to get going and do well on these matches.
Yesterday we met them guys from Malta, and there's only 35 meters ranges.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know it well because that's where I am from, and that's the reality. But thankfully we also have Sicily next door. Yeah, Oliver is in the second place with 54,750 there. So yeah, Oliver is still doing well, and he's gonna top the charts. So good job, Oliver. There's also Roberto Buccolo from Italy. I'm looking at it now. There's Roberto Aquilino, also Maltese national, in the 4th place there. Very, very good, Robert. John Davis Zauber, sitting next to me here from Latvia. Quentin Valderon, the Swiss. Peter Westman from Sweden. Brian Cataneo from the US. Hello, Brian. Giuseppe from Sicily. David Ray from France. Gary Costello. He took one of our cameras out. Can I ask you for a higher sponsor, Gary, next time around? There's Chris Battison also there. Good job, man. Stefano Mici, also another Italian. So yeah, even if you don't have ranges, you can come along and still do well if you practice somewhere, right?
Вообще не было ничего. Не спешите, время 6 минут.
I hope Arturs will catch the target and then hit them. This was a close one.
Да. На 0.
Mostriamoci un po' l'altra linea, per favore. Ecco il nostro amico regia, questo il tiratore David Marco Re. Questa grafica la dobbiamo cambiare.
Попадание. Возьми 0,1. Все, это на 7 переходи.
Tie, kas seko līdzi, var pateikt, ka paralēli Arturs trāpīja otro gongu. Jo we have also our fan club there in Sicily, because our team come there with wives and children.
Ah, cool. Okay, brought the whole family over. Yeah. I noticed a few teams who brought their families over, also from the US. I was speaking earlier to Danny Gilbert, who also made a family holiday out of this trip, and others that have also come here and staying in the surroundings. It's a beautiful area with a lot of family-oriented activities. We're just 30 minutes from 20-minute drive from the coast here, and it's still great weather, blue skies all around. So I'm sure our friends from Latvia here are having a great time.
Yeah, that's excellent. And for all these people who are watching this and thinking maybe they want to go there next year, I say yes, come here. There is an excellent shooting range and all these shooters, a lot of laughing and new information, education. Perfect place where to spend a couple of days.
I'm glad to hear that, Davis. I'm glad because you come a long ways, and we've seen more and more shooters traveling from farther places to come do the match. The first year we did it, they used to say Milan is a far place to come from, and on the fourth year we're attracting people from all over the world, really. So it's great. I said also Dovydas Bajoras also drove all the way from Latvia, I think
from Lithuania.
Sorry, from Lithuania,
Yeah,
some 2,800 kilometers. We'll give him a medal for that drive alone.
But also there's the team from Canada and
correct. There's a team from Alberta, Canada, Maureen and Gary, who had a great time over here. We'll have a chat with them later tomorrow. And yeah, seeing all the community come together is what this sport is all about. You're seeing here David Marcore from Armeria Marcore, also one of our sponsors, on the March target, number 7. They seem to have had quite a run, a bit challenging run on the second target. The spotter is Roberto Buccolo. Lo spotter qua è Roberto Buccolo. Lo possiamo cambiare. Davis, do you think you will change your cartridge for next year? Would you shoot a bigger cartridge, or would you still like to stay on your 6.5?
We will see. Because at this moment we know all about this cartridge, all these limits, what we can get with it, and at this moment 153 grains A-tip flying with 990 meters per second, and
yeah, you got bombs flying there. I'm going to ask Nicola a question here, because Nicola from Armeria Regina. Nicola sees quite a number of customers throughout the year, so if you had to compare 6.5 PRC to 300 Norma, 338 Lapua, what's more popular here in Italy?
Indubbiamente penso che in questo momento la quantità di armi che ci sono in circolazione calibro 338 Lapua Magnum sicuramente sia superiore a un 6.5 PRC, essendo un calibro relativamente nuovo. È un calibro che sta diventando abbastanza popolare, parecchie case costruttrici di serie, escludendo i custom, stanno iniziando a camerare in questo calibro. Per fare un esempio, Sacco, Ticca, che sono delle armi molto conosciute e molto acquistate, stanno iniziando a camerare parecchie armi in questi calibri e stanno iniziando ad avere una certa popolarità. Sicuramente anche il fatto che molte aziende hanno iniziato anche a produrre munizioni di serie in questo calibro lo sta rendendo sempre più popolare, anche perché è un calibro che comunque la balistica del 6,5 è ottima e in un calibro così spinto permette di utilizzarlo sia a scopi sportivi che anche a scopi venatori per qualsiasi tipo di caccia.
È interessante ascoltare dal punto di vista anche di Nicola Salvador di Armeria Regina, perché vede la situazione qua in Italia, che è un paese grandissimo, stiamo parlando di 60-70 milioni di persone, anche con tanti tiratori. I'll ask the same question to Davis. If you had to take a wild guess, Davis, what's more popular in Latvia, 338 or 6.5s?
I think that the popularity of 6 pints are growing at this moment, but from the point that we don't have a lot of these long-range shooting places, then the most popular in our country for the small country is 6.5 Creedmoor, 308, and because these distances 300 and 1 kilometer you can cover by these.
That is correct.
Yeah, but for those guys with who we are going together to Poland, there are 6.5 PRC, 338.
Do you have any caliber limitation in Latvia?
Yeah, we are not allowed to get bigger than 338.
Okay, so that means that they would have a challenge running heavy class,
yeah,
because heavy class goes from You can run 338 with a heavy class, but you're at a disadvantage because you're a light gun.
Yeah, because we would like to have 375 Cheetah, but that's not an option.
Yeah. Can you have anything like 33XC?
No.
238 408 maybe?
No, 300 Norma, we can 300 PRC, 7
Okay,
PRC.
30 cals. So that's another challenge that there is in some countries. There's a caliber limitation, not a cartridge limitation. So that limits some of the shooters as well in which categories they can practice. I believe there is no such restriction in Poland, right?
Yeah, in
Poland.
in Poland. But there is funny that in Poland for hunters they can't get 22 LR.
Yeah, the European laws can be really a swirl, and listening to some of these stories, gives us a different perspective. We're seeing now Rosario Iacono setting up, Sicilian shooter. He did really well last year. I know Rosario personally, and he's really into this sport, so bang on, bang on.
Okay, Rod, I need to tell thank you because I see that my team is
leaving you behind.
Yeah, and I would like to tell thanks for everyone who is supporting us and sitting at the Latvia and watching these online translations. And also, paldies visiem līdzjutējiem. Tiekamies uz ugunslīnijas.
What's the translation to that?
I tell them that next year you will come there for shooting competitions at 300
square.
Okay.
Thank you, Davis.
Okay, see you, Rod.
Beh, ci divertiamo qua, ascoltiamo tanta gente di ogni parte del mondo che viene, che si vuole salutare, che hanno anche famiglie qua con loro in Sicilia a guardare questo evento sia sul campo che in diretta come voi. Cioè bello insomma vedere tutta questa gente che si come si dice, che viene qua. Bravo Saro.
Intanto Rosario sta facendo una grande performance, 4 su 5 e soprattutto il primo.
Molto
perché quello è quello più importante. Spostiamo ora sul bersaglio numero 6, 1520 metri.
5, sì, aspetta un attimo, 6.
Sentiamo
Ora gli do
Alfio,
conferma, fammelo agganciare.
il suo spotter, che gli dice di pazientare qualche secondo perché le condizioni tornino esattamente uguali a quelle di prima, anche se comunque è il primo colpo, ma ripetiamo che il primo colpo è il più importante in termini di punti e quindi
13,5.
13,5 una nuova data.
13,5. Ok. Aspetta.
Tanti punti lì,
Kevin, go!
Un attimo. Fuoco appena pronto.
Fuoco.
Vai.
Bravo Saro.
Vai.
Fuoco.
Hit.
Wow.
Fuoco.
Vai. Hit. Vai. Hit. No, no, te la sei mangiata. Te la sei mangiata. Piastra 7, chi sta da muccasti? Per te, tutte dine. Stasera non mangi.
la munizione? Certo. Un innesco. No, la toppa stai 55.
Quando sei pronto?
It's a solid string there from
Vabbè, sistema.
Saro Iacono.
Abbiamo il tempo. 16.3.
42,400 points, massive. And he's still about to start the 1 mile plate, so that's also a lot of points.
No,
on the
7
canyon
minuti,
over there.
tranquillo. Beh, ci possiamo prendere il caffè. Aspetta che mi sto sistemando io.
7 minuti adesso. 7
Allora, che ci sono? Vuoi che ti do conferma?
16,2.
16.3.
Sì, ho dato uno meno.
16.3.
Altri 2 clic che devo digerire?
Sì.
Ok.
Aspetta un attimo che l'aggancio. Io ci sono quando vuoi.
Go.
Vai. Allora 0,4 a sinistra. A sinistra deve andare 0,4.
Saro also trains on this shooting range, so he knows
Sì.
it very well. And also Alfio, so
Un attimo che va vicino.
they know what the range can throw at them.
E anche Saro indubbiamente è un tiratore molto preparato,
Quando
attento
stai per
alla
sparare,
ricarica,
dimmelo.
alla
Sì.
preparazione dell'arma, è molto
Sì,
attento a queste
penso
cose.
che Saro è equivalente
Allora,
a
0,2
Stefan
destra,
Van der Heijden
0,1 down.
nella munizione. Non so se riusciamo a vedere se ha un radar sulla carabina per vedere.
Ha solo il telemetro al di sopra.
Non ce lo fa, non ci vuole dare il piacere di vedere
Vai.
i suoi numeri. Abbiamo l'inquadrato Ottica March, è anche un sponsor della sta gara.
Non l'ho vista proprio.
Purtroppo stanno
Vai sempre allo
faticando a
stesso posto.
entrare in piastra al miglio. Speriamo che ce la facciano negli
Già
ultimi.
fatto una bella botta di punti con 2000.
No, niente. Anche il quarto colpo.
No, totalmente.
Tornato a segno.
Aspetta un attimo, va vicino.
Vediamo l'ultimo. Ti darebbe
Di nuovo,
comunque un gran
centro-piastra,
incremento di punteggio.
Ultima chance.
Impact!
Vai.
Bravo Saro.
Praticamente l'hai pelato 2 volte.
Va bene, dai.
Bravo.
Va bene così.
47.320 punti è
Mamma mia.
gran punteggio.
Wow. Here we see our friends from the UK, Kevin Bunkham. Spotter is Victoria.
Sì. Bravo, bello.
Andiamo al tiratore a controllare l'elevazione sul Kestrel, che per chi non lo sapesse è uno strumento che ritengo quasi fondamentale per questo tipo di competizioni.
Calibro di Kevin Bunkham è 33 XC. Kevin is actually shooting a 33 XC. There's some technical issue there that's putting some different calibers. Kevin also runs his own range in the UK, so this is not a new game for him. He shoots a lot at these distances, out to a mile, and his spotter, Victoria Bunkham, is here with us as well. I had the opportunity to meet them yesterday for a quick chat, and they were telling us about everything they've been doing to prepare for the match. And this is not the only team from the UK. We also have Gary Costello, who's over. It's great to see more shooters coming in. I know there's a lot of shooting in the UK. That was basically my home for shooting for a few years, flying there to shoot. So we'd like to see more British shooters coming over.
Adesso sicuramente anche le condizioni della luce non aiutano.
Regia, cambiamo il calibro per 33 XC. It's interesting to see more and more ladies coming in, either as spotters or as shooters. We saw Aiste previously from Lithuania as well. She was with us when we did the interviews during midday. So we got her views as well, and we'll try to get Victoria's views on the match tomorrow. Bravo!
First elevation is 40. It says 40-42.
Vediamo se riesce a ripetere. No.
Bravo, nice one, nicely done, Kevin.
Anche Kevin possiamo vedere che utilizza
45
palle
seconds.
Orna di A-Tip, è anche uno degli sponsor di questa competizione.
Bravo,
Impact,
wow.
complimenti, 3 impatti al miglio.
Nice one, Kevin.
45.720
Great shooting there.
punti. Tanta roba.
We're gonna get to grab a few drinks with you guys afterwards. Now another shooter from far away, Gary McLeod from Alberta, Canada. Gary does a lot of shooting and hunting from what I hear. I had a call with him about 2-3 weeks ago and a few calls when he landed in Rome.
Go!
Yeah, by now they probably understood a little bit more about the range. I saw them taking some notes earlier.
Send it.
Gary spotted anche una donna, Maureen Snow.
Not seeing Gary.
Cioè abbiamo visto lui, abbiamo visto Kevin Buncombe prima di lui, anche con Dovidas. Cioè vediamo più donne che vengono a fare sia il tiratore che lo spotter. E avevamo Giulia anche, Giulia Trevisan con Alice. There's Maureen.
Blue ones are on the side. Green number 5. The red number 5, Gary. Go to the end of the lower blue ones, just off the edge. Put your adjustment back where it was. Okay. Send it. Okay, you need to come 6 MOA left.
6 minutes left, huh? Doesn't seem like there's so much wind, but it's still pushing. Hello, Andrew.
Hello. Did you see that one going?
Yeah, Kevin did really well there, yeah?
Good.
Some really good shooting, really good shooting and good spotting.
Yesterday,
Yeah. I spoke to them yesterday evening and they were a little hesitant, but it seems that it all went away after a few drinks and then they came back with a vengeance.
Parallax is good? Okay. Send it.
Vediamo se riuscirà a mettere a terzo colpo.
Kevin get onto the long one, onto
No.
the 16
Turn down, 2 clicks.
Che punteggio c'ho?
Left, 2 more.
Andrew's here with us, and I'd like to ask him for a second. Do you think we get to see more shooters, Andrew, from the UK? I mean, we're already seeing more teams coming in. Do you see there's an opportunity to see more British shooters fly in for a match like this?
I'm really privileged to be involved with the event that you and the team have organised, because if you'd asked me that question 2 days ago, I'd have said, well, it's difficult for them to visualise, it's difficult for them to know what's involved. But what's happened with this actual event is that it isn't just, as I mentioned earlier, a bunch of people up a valley doing something that no one else will ever see. You've created something with a worldwide audience. I don't doubt for a minute I'm going to have people coming up to me for months saying, hey, we saw, that Extreme Italia thing, and it's fantastic. Extreme Shot Italia is, that's amazing. And the answer is yes. You're presenting it and selling it well. People are having fun. I can hear laughter behind me.
Yeah, it felt like being at the bar two streets back.
Yeah. Every moment of today, you can hear conversations of happy people, even when people have, had a bath, as we would say in English. When it's not gone well, they're sanguine. They've learned stuff. They're moving forwards. People who didn't shoot so well yesterday have shot tremendously well today. People who shot brilliantly well yesterday have had a car crash today. It's the nature of the game. You can buy all the kit. You can get all the skills, but at the end of the day, Mother Nature is going to decide how easy it is.
That is exactly
and
it.
We're seeing this here. Gary's just got the hit at 1400 he deserved. He's working at it hard. That round just went in low for his first shot at 1520. I'm not sure why he's on the windage turret, because the shot went in low. It'll be interesting to see what happens now. So I think the shot went in low. Gary's adjusted probably to the left a little. Not seeing that one. From my position, that shot may well have gone to the left of a target, because I wouldn't be able to see it.
I feel even Maureen didn't
in the
see
dead
this
area.
one going. I heard her say not seen.
Yeah. Hit. He's on. Great.
Nice one.
Fantastic. Well deserved.
Yeah, if you're on, the nice thing with the third, fourth and fifth target in this match is that you can still pick up points, because you don't keep losing points after the third target.
Yep.
So if you manage to get on by the third, that's exactly
And another
it.
hit, and that's within what?
Nice one.
10 centimetres of the last shot.
Let's see if you manage.
If I was there, I'd be coming left just a little, just a minute, or 1 or 2 clicks of a mil.
Indeed.
Yes, he's on 3.
Wow.
Excellent.
Nice
Way to go.
one, Gary.
Good job, Gary.
And this makes it worth the journey.
Dial is 71.
So they're on the changeover now between targets. Lots of adjustment to be done.
It's engaging.
0.13, so. Okay, make sure you're up on the side of the mountain when you get there. 70.13. Got 5 minutes left, Gary. You're doing good. Get settled.
Cambio.
Four minutes 45. Lots of time.
So Gary set the rifle up. He's got onto the target He's now moving on to the 1640 metre target. I think he's got a few minutes left in this. I haven't got a watch in front of me, but he doesn't want to spend too much time setting up on this one, or he might be in for a time. It is very important to get a proper position built. The foundation, the start of it all, the first principle of marksmanship is you've got to build a position which is firm enough to, and hold which is firm enough to support the rifle through the whole course of fire. He's obviously comfortable that he's there now.
I can't hear you. Dial off.
Bolt closed, he's down for the shot.
What do you think? Hold 2?
All I've got on my screen now is the target, number 7, the red target.
Send it.
Any moment now, the shot will break. The shot's broken. 2, 3. Winds change. I didn't see that from my angle. We've got an increase in the wind. So first shot at 1640. I hope he knows where it went because I'm not sure. He's dialing some elevation so they could have seen it going in low. If it went in high, I'd see it from this position, I think. On for the second shot. Bolt closed. Bit of a conversation going on. He's set. He zoomed back in.
2 minutes 45. Yep.
He zoomed back out again. You can see the wind blowing the vegetation around the target now. The wind's blowing sideways from the left of Gary's actual position, like onto his left side, but in the valley, it's actually blowing down towards the targets.
Still didn't see it, Gary.
I didn't see that one. What he's doing is he's winding the scope all the way back down, and he's going to check the elevation he'd set earlier on. So I think he's got just a check going on here to see that he's got the elevation set correctly. This is where seeing swirl, that's the spotter being directly behind the firer, looking above the target, and in this case it would probably be some 20 meters above the target, looking to see the swirl of the bullet, which will give you a very good indication of the wind drift on the bullet, if you can see swirl. We've got a bit of moisture in the air now this evening. The sun's gone down. It maybe swirl can be seen. I don't know. I'm not in the spotting scope position. He's reset. We're going for the next shot. Third shot. Still not seen from my perspective here. I think he's not seen it because he's looking up and wondering what's going on. And I have to say, I was spotting for a person 2 hours ago on this target, 3 hours ago on this target. I only saw 1 impact out of 5. I saw the swirl on all the bullets, which helped, but I only actually saw 1 bullet impact that I could get a direct feedback from. No, I think we're still lost on this one.
For sure you're on the red target.
I think he's got 2 more rounds to count. The way the scoring system works on this target now is if he gets a hit, 1 more round to count. The last 3 shots, they all score the same amount, so there's no penalty. If you get on with any of the last 3 shots, you're still scoring the same amount. Last shot made. No, we're at a loss, I think. And that's the nature of the game. Some really skillful shots have been out here shooting today, and the results have been something of a mystery. And other people who weren't expecting to do so well have done brilliantly well. Very interesting evening. The team working in the van to my right have been doing an incredible job all day of getting all the data sorted out, of getting all the pictures sorted out. I think there must be at least a dozen cameras working today, being put together through the system they've got in the van and then fed out variously as live feeds to a worldwide audience. And what a great job! What a great job they're doing. The other team are still shooting, but I can't see what's going on. We get the top rankings coming here. The gentleman I was spotting for has gone from 4th down to 6th, so there's been some very good shooting this afternoon. We've got Daniel Gilbert, 55,020 points. Oliver Saliba, 54,750 points. Roberto Bucolo, 51,860 points. Rosario Lacono, or Lacono Rosario, I'm not sure, 51,370. David Marcore of the Wind Cutter Bullets, again, is doing a tremendous job. He's up there. Robert Aquilina is the gentleman I was spotting for, and he's still hanging on there in 6th place now. But a great evening shooting. Okay, my screens have gone blank, so I'm going to shut up for a minute. Thank you ever so much for watching, all of you out there. We'll be winding up on this white live feed with a bit of a summary, I suspect, in 15 or 20 minutes. But I'm just going silent for a moment because you can hear my voice is breaking. Thanks to the audience. Without you, we couldn't do it.